Peace, peace, peace. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? No mistake, no mistake. Okay, I think we could get started. We're gonna give it like 30 more seconds and we're gonna get started. Peace to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Family, when you coming in, make sure you hitting that like button. And also remember, support the stream any way you can. PayPal, Cash App, Super Thanks. We take it all. Much appreciated. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Any day of the week. Yep. Gonna get started in like 30 more seconds. "30 seconds has passed. We about to get started now. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Mr. T, are you FBA? That's my question to you. Anyway, everybody, as you coming in, make sure you hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you go subscribe to my second channel. You already know people be flagging me and striking me over here, and I'll have to stream over there if this channel ever gets taken down. Also, remember, support the stream. PayPal, Cash App, super thanks. Much appreciated. A whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Salute, Henry. Don't play games. Is Black American and FBA the same thing? Is it the same thing? Let me know. You got 10 seconds to answer that. Is it the same thing? That's what I'm saying. Is FBA and Black American the same thing? Yes or no? You didn't answer, so we moving on. We ain't wasting time. Okay, first thing we getting into right now is this Druski skit situation. Here we go. Let me see if I can share my screen. You're running from the question. I asked you a simple question. Is Black American and FBA the same thing? Yes or no? Depends on who you're talking to. All right, now you just let me know you FBA. I don't talk to FBA. I'm sorry, I don't play games with FBA. Okay, now back to this. We're getting into this right here. Let me share my screen. Share the screen. As you can see on your screen, Druski just dropped a new skit. We about to watch that skit together, and we're gonna talk about it. Because again, I haven't watched it. I watched like the first 10 seconds of it, and then I didn't watch any more of it. But we're gonna watch it right now. Let's get into it.
You promise you go with me, man.
Rudy, stop talking like that. You ain't going to no big city. I said, lecture.
I'm going with or without you.
Rudy, stop talking like that. Stop. Hey, what are you niggers doing over there?
Get out of here.
Hey, what are you doing?
And cuts. Fantastic. I need more American slave. Okay?
Like struggle.
So, yeah, the struggle.
Sort of like the dialogue, like the back and forth banner.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, this role was sort of a bit cheeky. I got a little bit out of my comfort zone, you know. During the filming of this role in this character, I felt oppressed, like an American slave, like a lot of struggle. I studied the art.
A fantastic turnout on the red carpet tonight. And just arriving, we have Samson Dubois at the American Guild Awards.
Samson, you look great tonight.
How hard was it for you to change your accent?
As a little boy from Manchester, I think, I struggled a bit with the dialect, right? But to really get into character for this quite astonishing role that I took on, to say the least, I put it all on the line.
All right, 3, 2, 1, action.
I'm telling you, nigga, if you fuck with my shit, I'll kill you, nigga. You'll be fucked up. Fuck.
Nigga, family.
Nigga, ain't no fucking family in this shit. We not family, nigga. Fuck family.
Hey, cut, that's the one.
That was stunning. Great performance.
Working with a good London boy, and I bother him all the time. I had a call with the director. It was quite quintessential to the role, and great character development behind it.
I put this fucking bullet in your head, nigga.
I laugh because I'm penniless and a bit quite surreal.
Samson Dubois. Samson, yo, who's the girl? What's your next movie? What's your next movie? Yo, do you think your British accent gets you all the black roles in America?
Come on, bro. Are you serious, bro?
Do you think you're better than them?
Better than who, bro? Black people.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay, that was a Druski skit. That was funny. I'm not gonna hold you. That was funny. I don't see what's the issue with this skit is. I don't see what's the issue. Can everybody hear me now? I want to make sure. I don't see what's the issue. Yes, Keenan. Yeah, they did it. They did this skit first. This is nothing new. It's not even a big deal. What I think what's going on is that FBA is basically using this to be xenophobes and push a diaspora war like they do with everything. But this is not a big deal. I thought the skit was gonna be like some crazy, crazy, but it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. It's not at all. It's a good skit. Like I don't get what's the issue. Maybe because again, people are gonna try to use this to be xenophobes. FBA trying to make it about them. let me see something. Let me see if Tariq talked about this. Let me see if Tariq talked about this. Let me see if Tariq talked about the Druski skit, because it's like, yeah, nothing was wrong with it. It wasn't that big a deal. It was like nothing was wrong with that skit. I don't see what's the issue. Oh yeah, Tariq talked about it, the bozo. Let's see what he got to say about it. Let's see. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's see what Tariq the bozo got to say about the skit.
Okay, Druski's skit has just dropped, and I'm doing this video because I know the UK hasn't woken up yet. I'm in LA, they're 8 hours ahead. So what time is it? It's like 5:43 in LA, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1:43 in the UK. So they probably haven't seen it. When Black Brits, when you wake up tomorrow and see the Druski skit, don't get upset. It's fine. It's funny. I don't want another diaspora over this. It's funny. It's funny. The only thing that I'm like not too much on is the beginning, the slave skits, is because I feel like a lot of Americans, Black Americans, they don't realize that like Black Brits are also the descendants of slaves. So when they're like Black Brits can't play slaves, that's the part where I'm like, that's also our culture too. Slavery, Caribbean slavery was in the Americas. So, you know, that's also, I'm a descendant of slaves in America, not the United States of America, but in the Americas.
Yes, have I seen the Druski?
Yeah, like, so what's the big deal? I think Tariq is just using this to be a xenophobe. Yeah, because it's like, I don't get what's the big deal. What's the problem? What's anything going on here? So yeah, let me let Tariq finish talking.
Skit. Yes, I have seen the Druski skit. Do we need to talk about it? Oh, let's talk about the Druski skit. For those who have not seen, internet comedian Druski, he's been hitting pretty heavy with some of the skits lately. His latest skit was him doing a parody of British Black actors who portray Black American roles.
Why you ain't say foundational Black American? And again, this is not a new skit. Like again, what you call it? Key and Peele did this skit already.
He went in on British actors who basically come to Hollywood and get gigs playing Black Americans.
He didn't go in on them. And why are you not saying foundational Black American? See, this is the game. Tariq knows that this video is going to hit with a bigger audience, so he's going to just say Black American. He's probably going to switch to foundational Black American later, but he's just saying Black American right now.
And he was one scene where he was doing the slave scene, and they were telling him to act more like a Black American. It was very interesting. Then he was playing a gangster role. Then he would switch back into the British accent. So it was pretty funny. And a lot of the non-FBAs, they got a little offended by it.
Nobody got offended by this skit. You are lying. Nobody got offended by it. But yeah, hurry up. Keep going. We got more important stuff to talk about.
Some of the non-FBAs got a little offended by that. They don't like that. I saw one chick up here talking about, I think she's Caribbean, but she's British. And she was like, we're all the same. I'm a descendant of slaves too, but not in the Caribbean. See, this is why descendants of slaves wasn't a codified term that we could use that really locked in the lineage. See, that's why that wasn't codified enough. You understand? Because a lot of the non-FBAs, they can kind of backdoor themselves into the descendant of slaves thing by claiming Caribbean. Well, we were enslaved in the Caribbean, so I'm a descendant of slaves too. See? That's why the foundational part, it really tears them up. When you say foundational Black American, that really locks the door on all the BS. That's why the non-FBAs have a problem with it.
Foundational Black American is a hate cult, not a people, not a lineage. Oh, Henry, I'm not from the Midwest. I'm from New York. I'm not from the Midwest. I am not from the Midwest at all. And Mr. T, I'm Black American. I'm not FBA like you. FBA is a hate cult. I don't claim to be a part of no hate cult. And yeah, Henry, I'm not from the Midwest. I'm from New York. Yeah, let's keep going.
Because yeah, you cannot backdoor foundational Black American. It's a tight term that you cannot backdoor. You can run a backdoor game on descendants of slaves. Several people have tried to do it. You understand? Several people have tried to do it. But going into the Druski skit, why is it offending certain people? Well, listen.
Exactly. This is the problem. He said it's offending certain people. Nobody's offended by this. Everybody's laughing at it. This you FBA bozos trying to use it to try to start some diaspora war. Nobody cares about this. Everybody knows this is true. This has been true for over the last 20 years. All the major, like all the new actors, major Black actors for like the last 20 years have all been like from the UK. Everybody knows this. This is like not even a big deal. And again, and a lot of them got hired by Black American directors and producers. They seeking them out. They are seeking them out. Like I don't get it. Like again, people keep making it seem like this some kind of conspiracy theory to hire them, which is not true. Oh, you Caribbean? Okay. I don't believe you, but okay. Yeah, let's get back to this.
Offensive because the skit it's touching on something real. There's a pattern in years for a long time. For years, Hollywood, they've had Black British actors play foundational Black Americans who were enslaved, people from the hood, civil rights figures, street dudes, Southern Black characters, and the industry act like nobody's supposed to notice. All right, but
nobody did notice. That's the funny part about this. People only found out that these people were British after the movie was already out or the show was already out and he was doing interviews. I remember when the first time we found out Idris Elba was British, was from the UK. That was crazy. I thought he was just doing an accent for an upcoming role. No. I'm like, dang, I ain't know Stringer Bell was like from the UK. That's the case with mostly all the actors. Nobody's noticing. It's not like, oh, somebody's watching the movie. I'm like, oh, that's not a Black American. I can tell by the way they talking. That's not a Black American. I can tell by how they look. That's cap. That's cap.
We notice. We understand accents. We know the cultural distance. We notice the rhythm, the pain, the swagger, the humor, the slang. We know when it don't really come from the soil.
That's a lie. That's why all of you bozos right now are crying about multiple actors. Like, aren't you FBA bozos are now crying because I just found out Nia Long is Caribbean? Like, y'all don't know who is who. Y'all don't know who is who. That's the whole thing. That's why it's so many of them over here playing roles. Nobody knows who is who. You just making that up.
That doesn't mean that, let's be clear, that doesn't mean that these actors are not talented. It means that talent is not the same thing as lineage. It's not the same thing as cultural memory. It's not the same thing as a lived experience. Y'all feel me? See, this is why the foundational Black American delineation movement is so powerful, ladies and gentlemen. See, that skit is really part of a bigger cultural shift. People are not just accepting this generic Black is Black.
It's not a part of no generic, no cultural shift. Black British people are still getting all the acting roles, and nobody got a problem with it. In fact, again, like I said, the people hiring them are Black Americans themselves. Like, how many Black immigrants was in the movie Sinners, who were picked by Ryan Coogler to be in the movie? Like, come on now. Like, cut it out, Tariq. There is no greater shift. That's just you just saying that. And exactly, RBG for the win. He's running out of material. Because now he's using this Druski skit to say something that the skit didn't say and trying to perpetuate some nonsense about some diaspora war. And that this, like, yeah, the actors are talented, but it's not the same as lineage memory or whatever the fuck he said. Actually don't make no sense. It's dumb. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you hitting the like button as you come in. Let me see something. Exactly. But nobody cares about FBA. FBA is a hate cult. They don't got no actors. Like, real black people just care about good acting. They don't care about none of that other stuff. Like I said, who are a lot of the producers and directors who are picking these black British actors? Native Black Americans themselves. Native Black Americans themselves. They're not gonna say nothing about that because remember, FBA is a hate cult. They whole job and it's just to attack black immigrants all day. That's it. They attack other black people all day. It doesn't matter. Exactly. They never answer that point. Matter of fact, only one time they ever tried to answer that point, and it was Yvette Carnell. And you know what she said? Well, it's okay for Native Black Americans to play African roles because the company that's making the movie is American. She said that, by the way. A Native Black American is somebody who's descended from who has ancestors who are descendant of enslaved Africans in the United States. That's an actual legal term, by the way. That's the reason why I'm not going to say legal. I'm going to say that's an actual academic term, something that Tariq couldn't trademark and couldn't remix. It actually has a meaning. That's the reason why Tariq came up with his nonsense of foundational Black American. There is no immigrant hate group. See, you playing games. See, that's why I knew you wasn't from the Caribbean. You got an American flag and you talking about what about immigrant hate groups. Don't piss me off.
Label that gets used whenever institutions want to collapse everybody into one category. The foundational Black Americans, we're saying we're a specific ethnic group with a specific history, with a specific culture, with a specific relationship to this land here. And that makes a lot of people uncomfortable because for decades, they've benefited from the confusion. See, people want us to be confused so they can benefit from it. When we don't have confusion, that stops everybody's gravy train. So Hollywood, academia, politics, nonprofits, the media, they treated Black Americans like a costume that anybody with melanin could just take on and take off. And we're saying, no, you can still have melanin, you can still be Black, but not us. That's the part that offends people. You understand? And understand, people are really offended not just by the jokes that Druski's doing, but just the distinction, just the fact that it's a distinction. You understand? That's what's chapping the ass of a lot of people. And he's making that distinction visible, and other people keep making it visible. Everybody keeps talking about the difference between Black Americans and other Black people. You see? They're offended because the joke says a British Black person playing a Black American is not automatically authentic just because most people are Black. You understand?
There was no question of authenticity in that skit. There was nobody questioning, well, is the performance authentic because a Black British person's was playing the role? Nobody said that. Yes, Tariq makes the dumbest argument. And yeah, we talked about that. About people like Forrest Whitaker playing Africans. They never got nothing to say about it. The only person who had something to say about it was Yvette Carnell, and she said it was okay because the company that made the movie was American. And that's how I know you weren't Caribbean. You lied to me. So yeah, I don't need to answer you no more because you lied. I'll maybe answer you. Maybe, as a matter of fact, I'll put you on timeout and you could come back for the next segment. There we go. When you get your mind right. You're FBA. We don't care what you try to call yourself now. Like, we already know you FBA, so you call yourself whatever you want. We already know you're part of the hate cult. They can't do it because nobody's following their movement. This is something they made up that nobody in real life cares about. Nobody cares about in real life. That's why they can't do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, Lord of Slaughter. Yes, he said Malcolm X is not FBA. So what about Denzel Washington playing a non-FBA? Exactly. Matter of fact, I think we might. Matter of fact, let's keep going.
Now, why are so many stories being handed to these non-FBA actors? And I talked about this before, man. Hollywood, they use a lot of Black British actors as safe blackness. You know, just like when MTV first started, now I pointed this out, before Michael Jackson and Prince, because they started playing Prince in like December 82, but really before Michael Jackson, they didn't play foundational Black American artists. If they played a Black artist, that Black artist was Caribbean or British. Because the music, our music was so powerful in the early 80s, foundational Black American music was extremely powerful. I'm gonna have to do a whole broadcast on the power of foundational Black American music in that little pocket between 1980 and 82. Right after disco collapsed, there was a wave of classic foundational Black American music that resonates to this very day. It was very, very powerful. It was very unifying. It was unifying us. And they knew, the dominant society knew the power of it. I'm gonna do that's a whole separate thing because I got to break that down. But same thing with actors now. They have to use safe Blacks. They're comfortable with British actors playing certain Black American roles.
He's babbling now. And yeah, people still talking about the Malcolm X thing. Let me show y'all this. Let's go to this.
Meaning foundational Black Americans, Black Americans who are the foundation of this country. That's the group. And that group includes Dr. Martin Luther King and many other foundational Black Americans who are prominent. You dig? Because people who got a problem with American descendants of slaves, and you got a problem with Harriet Tubman, you got a problem with Malcolm X, not Malcolm, with Martin Luther King, meaning foundational Black Americans, Black Americans who are the foundation of this country. That's the group. And that group includes Dr. Martin Luther King and many other foundational Black Americans who are prominent. You dig? Because people who got a problem with American descendants of slaves, and you got a problem with Harriet Tubman, you got a problem with Malcolm X, not Malcolm, with Martin Luther King.
As you just saw, he just said not Malcolm X. He said Malcolm X is not FBA. So I don't want to hear nobody saying Malcolm X is FBA because again, you can't show me where Tariq said Malcolm X is FBA. And even if you could, it doesn't matter because that's a contradiction for what he just said over here. Yes, they was hating hard on Malcolm X too. You on Clubhouse when they was going in on Malcolm X. They've been hating on Malcolm X for a long time. Like, come on now. Well, you just saw him say that he wasn't FBA. Well, yeah, let's get back to this. Oh, word. Damu Dino. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I might have to go check that out. I might have to check that out. But yeah, let's get back to this. Let's wrap this up.
And I'm not saying that they're bad actors, but when they're less politically connected to Black American grievance, so they're less threatening to the industry. You understand? See, Hollywood, they want the aesthetics of a black American pain without the political baggage of dealing with actual black Americans. You know what I'm saying? They want the slave story, the hood story, the civil rights story, the jazz story, the blues story, the hip hop story, but they don't want the descendants of the people who created and survived those stories to have ownership over them. You know? That's why I keep telling y'all, man, whenever we do a lot of foundational black Americans who have done these slave movies, I pointed this out several times, the ancestral energy hits them on the movie set. It starts resonating with these actors. They have these ancestral breakdowns. When they were doing Roots, John Amos, they were filming on a plantation. The ancestors got to him. He had a breakdown. It clicked in. Michael K. Williams, right, when they did 12 Years a Slave, he had a breakdown on the plantation. Being around that energy, and I've been on them plantations, that ancestral energy will knock you off your damn feet. If you
weren't those ancestors Africans? Wasn't the ancestors you talking about African? Like, come on now. Let's just keep like, I'm about to wrap this up. How am I a coward? You lied to me. You pretended to be Caribbean. So again, you lied and pretended to be Caribbean, and I timed you out for lying. That's it. And I let you back. Let me time you out again. Yeah, let's let Tariq finish up.
We ain't ready for it. So it hits us a little different. You understand? And if it hits us different, the acting is going to hit the audience a certain way. It's going to resonate with the audience differently. It's going to probably kick in a more rebellious spirit. So they don't mind British actors kind of cosplaying the role, because they'll do the aesthetics, but not the deep down spiritual essence of the role. You know what I'm saying? When we play our own ancestral characters, it hits a little different. You dig? Just like when Denzel did Malcolm.
Oh, he said like Denzel did Malcolm. I guess we got to play that again. We're going to play this again, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hitting that like button. You said just like Denzel did Malcolm. Let's do this.
Meaning foundational black Americans who are the foundation of this country. That's the group. And that group includes Dr. Martin Luther King and many other foundational black Americans who are prominent. You dig? Because people who got a problem with American descendants of slaves, and you got a problem with Harriet Tubman, you got a problem with Malcolm X, not Malcolm, with Martin Luther King.
Exactly. So let's let him contradict himself again, like he always does. Here you go, Tariq. Finish up.
Yeah, he rocked that shit. Nobody could have done what Denzel did as far as Malcolm. He became Malcolm. And even Denzel was saying, hey, there was some spirits coming over me. Because again, Denzel is from New York. He's from New York. Out there where Malcolm's stomping grounds. So he captured the spirit of Malcolm. You understand? Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett, they carried and transmitted the spirit of Ike and Tina. You understand? They rocked that role. We still feel that to this day. You understand? We felt that. We felt it. You understand? Brother Chadwick, when he did James Brown, he did a phenomenal job in the James Brown movie. He did a phenomenal job. Jamie Foxx, he embodied Ray. That's why he won that Oscar. He was phenomenal as Ray. Yeah? Tina said Lawrence Fishburne was so good, he scared her. Yeah, man. Man. Lorenz Tate did a phenomenal job as Frankie Lyman. Yeah? So when we do these roles and we're from the lineage, it hits a little different, and they know this. So they don't want that kind of power coming from the screen. They want the performance to be good enough to be believable to a certain degree, but they don't want you to have a spiritual connection with that.
Yeah, we just heard Tariq contradict himself multiple times. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to TB for the 5. Yep. Tariq, you can't. Tariq don't see no problem with that. Remember, Tariq got a whole white mother-in-law living in his house, and he done bought her every dashiki there is to buy. She got dashikis in every color. Got a dashiki in every color. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me see something. Oh, we got a troll. You calling people names, you will be banned. There we go. We don't tolerate disrespect over here. But yeah, Tariq has contradicted himself enough. I think we can move on from this.
See, they like to treat foundational Black American culture as public property. See, we treat it like a public resource. Anybody can borrow our music, our language, our trauma, the comedy, the clothes, the street cadence. But when we say, hold on, that belongs to a specific people, everybody wants to get offended. See, they want access to the culture, but they don't want the accountability to the people who created it. And listen, the backlash, the people whining about the Druski skit.
You didn't create no culture, Tariq. Let's go.
That just shows delineation is working. That shows the delineation is cutting through. And delineation is not just about saying who's Black, it's about who's represented, who's being replaced, who's being erased, and who's profiting from this. Yeah, you there? So yeah, this delineation is real. And a lot of these people who are non-FBA, they're getting offended because this skit challenges their access. See, a lot of these people who are British or whatever, and I'm cool with a lot of Black British.
No, you're not cool with anybody. I'm about to put you on double speed. Matter of fact, yeah, just keep going.
I'm cool with them. I got a lot of love in the UK. But you got the tether class who tries to denigrate us and they got to show disrespect. They're trying to frame the critique as if we're saying that the British actors can't act. We're not saying that. There's some phenomenal British actors. There's some British actors who I love Idris Elba, love Idris Elba. Absolutely love Idris Elba. You understand? But the argument is that every group should have the right to tell its own story first. Like nobody would say it's wrong for a Jamaican to want to cast Jamaicans in Jamaican stories. If they were to do a movie about Bob Marley, you wouldn't want to get Terrence Howard to play Bob Marley. You would want to get possibly a Jamaican to do that. You see? So we got to understand that. And it's not just about the accent. It's like they try to reduce it to whether can they do the accent. It's deeper than the accent. You can learn an accent. You can't rehearse ancestral memory. You can study the dialect. You can mimic the walk. You can get a dialect coach. But there's certain things that comes through cultural osmosis, the church cadence, that Southern grandmother energy, the way Black American men joke under pressure. There's little nuances that you can't get at an acting school. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all remember Coming to America? The first one? All
right, that's enough of that. We had enough of this. We're not listening to Tariq ramble all night. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got like 70 people in the building. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure, family, you also PayPal, Cash App, and a pinned comment. Support that way if you want to, too. Also, subscribe to my second channel. Make sure you do that. Oh, shout out to TB for the double up. Exactly. That's exactly the situation. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Help me reach my goal tonight, family. We ate away. Now, let's see something. Oh, I wanted to cover this. Can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see my screen? Is my audio still good? My audio still good. Y'all can see my screen. Okay, I wanted to cover this sister who did a great video about Kevin Roberts at the Heritage Foundation having a degree in African American studies. She broke this down real good, way better than the bozo Willie D did. I don't know if I want to call Willie D a bozo, Maybe not, whatever. But we're gonna get into this right now. Let's listen to the sister and see what she got to say. Shout out to everybody in the building.
Seeing this go around, Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation, got a PhD in African American history and then used it to author Project 2025 and dismantle civil rights. Y'all know this sent me down a rabbit hole, right? Y'all want to come? Come on. I said, there's no way this man has a degree in African American history. Learn the things that he learned about African Americans, about the formerly enslaved, and come out the megalomaniac that he is today. And I saw in his Wikipedia that his degree is not in African American history. His degree is in history. Now he has what we would call a concentration. Wikipedia says main interest in African American history. For those people with multiple degrees, you know that you can choose an area with maybe one or two disciplines. So it wasn't his main focus per se, but in looking at his Wikipedia, you know, I found his thesis and I found his dissertation. When he got his Master of Arts in History, he wrote his thesis on African Virginian extended kin, the prevalence of West African family forms among slaves in Virginia, 1740 to 1870. For his dissertation, he did Slaves and Slavery in Louisiana, the Evolution of Atlantic World Identity, 1791 to 1831. You know, I took notes. Now, in his master's thesis, he spoke about how the extended family, extended kin was a way to resist, right? He talked about the centrality of that. He spoke about the high status and influence of women. He said it was matrifocal, and that without these enslaved people being matrifocal, they wouldn't have been able to see any success when it came to freeing themselves. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, the women, without the women, things wouldn't have changed or moved. That's what he means in this paper. He also talked about the flexible systems of descent, meaning family, right? It wasn't just everything was through the father. It was like, oh, that's my cousin them. Oh, that's auntie them. Like how extended kin played a central role in the enslaved community and how it helped them to resist. Community. He learned that community and women were key central focuses of the enslaved community that led to their freedom. Now, in his dissertation, he focused the main core argument, or a couple of them, but the only two I want to focus on is that how enslaved people in Louisiana shaped their world by actively resisting. That's what he learned. He also learned that the enslaved used the Catholic Church, the rights of the Catholic Church, market gatherings, legal petitions to build community and push back against slavery. Let's go back to that market gatherings. To me, that sounds like a cookout. It seems like they would gather together and plan and organize, which means everybody wasn't invited to the cookout, market gathering. In order for things to get better, everybody wasn't invited to the market gathering. Now, reading these two papers and seeing how he governs as the president of Project Heritage Foundation, who pushes Project 2025, that the dichotomy of it is mind-blowing because it's like the exact opposite. Notes. Took them. So in Project 2025, they say that the traditional nuclear family is normal, but in his own goddamn research, he found that when the community is matrifocal, when the women are running it, and when there is extended kin community helping as well, they saw change. They saw revolution. Maybe that's why they forcing these traditional nuclear family norms, because they know what community can do. All right. Now, I'm not going to go over all of it. But another thing that Project 2025 purports is that DEI, they're skeptical of DEI. But in his own research, cultural agency and Black community led to resilience that is central to American history. Diversity helps drive the country forward. That's why we don't have healthcare. Nope. Different video. After going down that rabbit hole, it was never to counter what my fellow content creators were saying. It went a different route. After I read both those papers and I understand how white supremacy works, I realized that this man has researched where the power in the Black community lies. He understands that it lies with women. He has, from the 1700s at the start of his paper to the early 1800s to the late 1800s in his dissertation, he has tracked the power of Black women when it comes to liberation and how, you know, we have been the drivers of it. So now as a Black woman, I'm like, oh, okay. He got all the ingredients. Yeah. So I'm trying to see how he's going to try to use the organization to chip away at that power. But you can have all the ingredients. That don't ever mean you're going to taste the sauce.
Oh, shout out to the sister. Yeah. Shout out to her. And that's true. See, this is what I was saying before. I made multiple videos about that. This is the reason also why as soon as Project 2025 got off the ground, 300,000 Black women lost their job. Because for all you don't know, the majority of Black households, the Black woman is either the primary breadwinner or the sole breadwinner. Or her income, if she was to lose her job, that would throw the whole household out of whack, even if she's not the primary or sole breadwinner. That's why they've been going after Black women, especially with a lot of the firings with the federal government and stuff like that. That's mainly like Black women. Because as you know, Black women are the most educated group in America, pound for pound, most educated group in America. That's what they targeted. That's what they going after. That's what they going after. Like this is like, again, if you study Black history, you would know that. You don't even got to study Black history. Study the Black community today, you would know that. That's why they targeted the Black women. That's right there. You hit that. That's the center of gravity. You hit that, you throw everything else out of whack. You throw the whole community out of whack. You throw whole households out of whack. Yeah, the manosphere is the gender war is basically, again, a bunch of bozos trying to be like white men, pushing white people stuff in there and hating on Black women because they also know this is true. Like, don't get it twisted. It's a lot of gender warriors who are pro-Republican because they see that the Republican Party will destroy Black women, will attack Black women, and it will make Black women lose power. And they think by Black women losing power, them as Black men will gain power in the community. Like, trust me, RBG for the win. There's a lot of manosphere bozos, red pill MGTOW bozos who understand that Republicans are targeting Black women. And they are okay with that because they feel like by allowing Black women to be broken down, they will have more power in the community and they can turn the Black community into a true patriarchy. That's what they want. That's what they want. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Yeah, but they only certain of them saw that, but they were pretty much all matriarchies. And by matriarchy, we gotta understand too. I gotta explain this. Matriarchy does not necessarily mean the opposite of patriarchy. Matriarchy just means not a patriarchy. Like, so for example, a society could still be a matriarchy, but be male dominated. Like virtually all African societies were male dominated, but they were still referred to and described as patriarchies. Matriarchies. And they was described as that because women were equal. Women had rights. Women had say so. They may not have been, quote unquote, leading the society, but they still had rights. They still were equal. A man couldn't just boss up on any woman just because she was a woman, like they could do in a patriarchal society. So that's why they always describe African societies as matriarchies, even though they weren't true matriarchies, as in the direct opposite of a patriarchy where women have all the power and the men are subjugated. That was never the case. Yeah, so it's definitely a war because, again, that's where the power lies. That's where the power lies. And it's a lot of weak-ass Black men who knowingly or unknowingly joined forces with the Republican Party trying to destroy black women, thinking that it will help black men. And it's not. That's the community. You can't make up, like, again, like I said, the majority of black households, the black woman is either the sole breadwinner, the primary breadwinner, or has an income that if she was to lose it, would throw the whole household out of whack. You can't break down the black woman and think the black community can survive that. Like even with the Spirit Airlines, they were supposed to get a bailout. I think Trump even talked about bailing them out, just like they did all the other airlines, but they didn't do it. How many black women lost their jobs because they worked at Spirit Airlines? How many? How many? How many? Like again, how many households, black households, are like destroyed right now, but just because the Spirit Airlines went under? Exactly, the backbone of the community. Everybody knows that. That's why I said you don't even have to study the ancient. You don't even have to go back that far to slavery. You could just study just today. Just look at the community and its dynamics today, and you could know, like, hey, if I want to destroy the black woman, I want to destroy the black community, I got to get that black woman. I got to get that black woman. I get that black woman, everything else gonna crumble. Everything else gonna crumble around it. Everything. That's why you had all these gender war and bozos celebrating when they heard 300,000 black women lost their jobs. They thought that was so funny. They thought that was so cute. And they was like, yeah, now the black woman gotta submit to the black man. And yeah, do that. That's why they was also celebrating when they heard the food stamps was getting cut. They was celebrating all this stuff. Which is crazy. But yeah, I'll probably touch on this a little bit more another time. But yeah, shout out to everybody in the building. If you're in the building, make sure you like this video, share this video. Make sure you drop in comments. Remember, if you ain't got no money to support me, fire emojis support me. So yeah, make sure you're doing that for me, family. But yeah, let's move on to our next topic. Let me see. Is pre-sale in the building? Is pre-sale in the building? I don't know if she's in the building or not. But yeah, we about to get into this video right here. For all y'all don't know, we probably might hopefully praying that we don't have another outbreak because of Trump's stupidity. Trump is stupid. Because he hired, matter of fact, before we do that, I want to play this. Let's start the video off right. Let's start the video off right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, let's start this off right. Don't tell me that video was gone. Oh my God. Whatever. Yeah, we just gonna go. We're gonna start right here.
Spanish authorities are preparing for the expected arrival tomorrow of the cruise ship, where a deadly outbreak of Hantavirus was discovered. So far, at least.
Oh yes, shout out to everybody in the building. This video is about the Hantavirus. So yeah, let's get into this.
At least 8 cases of the virus have been confirmed, and 3 of those infected have died. 17 Americans are still on board that ship. At least 6 other Americans who traveled on that ship have returned, and health officials in 6 states are closely monitoring those people and anyone that could have been exposed. But there are 0 reported cases in the states, and the World Health Organization says the risk to the wider public is low, and that this is not like COVID. What may be more concerning is the U.S.'s response to the outbreak. The New York Times notes that it took nearly a month after the first patient's death for the CDC to set up a team to respond to the outbreak.
Exactly. That's because Trump is an idiot. By the way, this is how COVID got big. For all you don't know, COVID got big just like this. It would have never got to the point if it the way it was if Hillary Clinton had been president, if George Bush had been president, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, anybody else would have been president. This would have never happened, but it happened under Trump because Trump is incompetent and he's stupid.
They say, quote, the administration's sluggish response and lack of communication.
Oh, we just got we got some support. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, much appreciated. Is it DJ Bruce? That's your name, DJ Bruce? Well, shout out to you for the 10. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Let me know in the chat if I'm saying your name right or wrong.
Communication suggests the United States is ill prepared for a larger health crisis. And because of deep staffing cuts the Trump administration has made to the CDC and other health agencies, the government.
Exactly, staffing cuts. Like, why are you cutting from the CDC? Why are you cutting from health organizations?
Government has far fewer people to respond to outbreaks. And while the WHO has been coordinating efforts, the Times points out because President Trump withdrew the country from the World Health Organization, the United States does not receive regular information from member states about emerging health threats. Joining us now is Dr. Daniel Druski.
Mind you, the World Health Organization is basically an American institution. Like most of these global institutions, quote unquote, global institutions that got the world and international in them, those are American institutions. Those are extensions of the United States government. So why would you cut off your extensions?
Jernigan, excuse me, doctor, former CDC director of the National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases. He resigned in protest from the CDC last year following the firing of then CDC director Susan Menares. Dr. Jernigan, thank you so much. So first, can you explain to us what the Hantavirus is and what this rare strain is? Give us a reality check, please.
Yeah, sure. And so this is a virus that normally hangs out with rodents. It's very common in rodent populations, but people, when they come in contact with those rats or those other kinds of rodents, they can get infected through the feces, through the urine, through things that get kicked up in the air. Once you get that into your body, these viruses in the South America and in North America cause a thing called Hantavirus cardiopulmonary syndrome. And that just means that it infects the lungs, infects the heart, and such that your vessels open up and you start to leak fluid and you can't breathe. So this is a bad disease. You can have a case fatality ratio of about 30 to 40%. But even though it is bad and lethal, it's not that easy to get. It is actually pretty hard for it to get from one person to another. And I think it's important to recognize that right now, this is not a pandemic that is starting. This isn't another COVID, and the risk to the American public is extremely low.
But the way the CDC is responding is how it becomes a threat to the public. See, it's like, it don't matter how hard this virus is to spread. If nobody's proactively going after it and preventing it from spreading, it will spread. And another thing that makes this thing so easy to spread is because you got a lot of people, you got a lot of like racist people who don't believe in germs and positions of power. They don't believe in germs. For all you don't know, racist white people do not believe in germs. They believe in cooties. They don't believe in germs. The same racist white person who don't want to drink off a water fountain off a black person because they might get something is the same racist white person that'll eat behind a dog. The same racist white person who don't want to use the same bathroom as a black person because they think they might get something is the same racist white person who don't believe they need to wash their hands after they use the bathroom. The same racist white person who will argue down they don't need to wear a mask is the same racist white person who will be in like an elevator or something with a black person and hold their breath because they don't want to breathe the same air because they might get something. They don't believe in germs. They believe in cooties. And that's who you got in charge of our health right now. A bunch of racist white people who don't believe in germs. They believe in cooties.
Thank you for that reality check. I think it's calming some people's nerves. I am people for a lot of reasons. But when you look at what we've seen at the CDC, you left because of what was going on with Dr. Monarez. A lot of people have. The RFK Jr., who's the head of HHS, under CDC's under there, he fired all the cruise ship inspectors. A Hantavirus outbreak starts on this one ship then.
Exactly. Why would you fire all the cruise ship inspectors? Like, we don't know cruise ships. People get sick on cruise ships all the time. Like, come on, that's common.
With all that the American people have seen when it comes to the HHS and the CDC and this administration and how it gaslights them on everything, who should they be looking to for information as they watch this situation unfold?
So there's a couple of things there, and that has to do with confidence. And so who do I have confidence in? I have confidence in those staff that are involved in this outbreak right now. There are excellent scientists, people who have been working in this space for years, sometimes 30 years. They're the world's experts. Where I'm having some issues with confidence is with the political leadership right now. They're, I believe, making decisions that are not necessarily in the best interest of getting the word out about what's happening. It would be great if we could have more information. So the things to happen, I think, would be to let those good scientists at CDC who are doing incredible work, let them speak, let them do their job, essentially get out of the way and tell the American public what's going on, because they have information that would be very useful to hear from a scientist so that people would not be so concerned about it. Right now, you're hearing most of it from WHO, you're hearing it from the news media. Let's hear it from the experts at CDC.
Dr. Jernigan, I do want to get to fact-checking some of the misinformation that's been swirling around about treatment for hantavirus. But I have to ask you, because I texted my family yesterday that I was putting a moratorium on family vacations on cruises. Do you have any feelings about cruises as a vector for these kinds of infectious illnesses and best practices that cruise staff and directors and doctors should be taking? Because some of the footage is now trickling out, cell phone video that passengers have taken as the cruise director is announcing a death on it. And I don't know, it doesn't make me want to take a cruise.
Yeah, the cruise ships, we know, because you put a lot of people together, are likely for transmission to occur. The cruise ships, compared to other kinds of vessels and other situations like hotels and so forth, they're actually fairly well regulated. There's a vessel sanitation program at CDC that makes sure that those vessels are maintaining the right amount of safety. And because of known issues with norovirus and other kinds of viruses that can spread easily on ships, there's a lot of rules about what you do to try and prevent that. This particular ship was one that was picking up people that had unusual exposures, in a very rare event where that thing was able to get onto the ship and cause illness with other people. Right now, I think if you're getting on ships, you're going to need to follow the appropriate kinds of infection control and good hygiene that you would normally do on a trip. But at this point, I don't know that what we're seeing with this particular boat has a necessary implication for those usual cruises that people take.
And can we ask you about this Marjorie Taylor Greene tweet that she's been pushing false information, what I believe is false, that ivermectin is a treatment for hantavirus. She posted on X that she had texted with her doctor.
Exactly. They do not believe in vaccines. They be making up all kind of concoctions. That's why you have people drinking bleach during COVID, all kind of nonsense like this.
Doctor, and that
people refusing to wear a mask, but they'll drink bleach.
The doctor advised that hantavirus could be treated with ivermectin, vitamin D, and zinc. Those of us who refused to lock down, mask up, and get vaxxed took the good old horse pace and also developed natural immunity. She's obviously referencing pushing ivermectin as an alternative treatment and a cure for COVID-19. Can you give us your doctor's assessment of this treatment?
For hantavirus infections, there is not any drugs that really work. They've done studies to try and find.
And also, The reason why a lot of white people, racist white people, are so against inoculations, vaccines, is because that was started by black people. That's why they're against it. Yeah, for all you who don't know that, inoculations in America, vaccines, were started by black people. That's why they're so against it.
Some that would. There are no vaccines that work. They're trying to find vaccines that do that. The best thing you can do for hantavirus is supportive care. That is, make sure you get to a hospital, get on a ventilator, get fluids and things like that. It is interesting the life that ivermectin has. It shows up as a treatment for a number of different things. It's a drug that is very effective for river blindness and for parasitic infections. It is not a drug that you use for hantavirus. And so I don't know that it has much impact because I don't believe that the hantavirus is going to be showing up anywhere in your neighborhood. However, hantavirus is not a treatment. Excuse me, the ivermectin is not a treatment for hantavirus.
Doctor, very quickly before we go, in addition to all of this, the FDA has blocked publication for several studies supporting the efficacy and the safety of taking vaccines, COVID and shingles. So you say that it's important for the public to listen to the scientists, but I don't think the administration is going to let the scientists get out there and talk. So can these agencies be trusted?
So that is an issue that a number of us that left had, and it wasn't necessarily the people, it was the processes. They were not following the science, not letting the evidence be what was directing them toward the recommendations. With this particular study that was not pushed forward at FDA, with another study that Dr. Bhattacharya did not let come out of CDC on COVID vaccine effectiveness, these are both indications of how the administration is trying to stop the science from coming out. That is not gold standard science that they purport to want to support. It is not radical transparency. So the best thing that can happen is to let the science speak for itself, let the scientists speak, and let that science help drive us toward best evidence-based recommendations.
Hope springs eternal. Dr. Daniel Jernigan, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, but I want y'all to see this. I got to see this video right here. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Make sure y'all liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to this video. Look what the CDC is doing right now. Look what the CDC is doing right now. Look at, watch this. Watch this shit.
Hantavirus outbreak.
Watch this.
We begin with the passengers.
Here we go. Gotta get, oh.
We begin with the passengers aboard the luxury cruise ship at the center of a deadly hantavirus outbreak about to arrive at the Canary Islands. Authorities say there are no plans to quarantine the 17 Americans returning to the U.S., but they will be met by officials with the CDC.
You see, this is how outbreaks start. They have no they have no plan to quarantine the people. So we know people who have hantavirus. We know people who have been exposed to the hantavirus. We know where they at. We know what boat they coming on. We know who they are. We identified them, but we're not gonna quarantine them. We're just gonna let them. We're just gonna just keep an eye on them. And the next thing you're gonna know, oh, hantavirus is everywhere. This is the incompetence. This is why I was telling people before, going all the way back to 2015. That's why I was looking for that video. I cannot find the video. When I told people, I explained to people about why Trump can't win. Like, even if you don't care about the racist stuff. Somebody like Trump can't be in charge because do you want somebody as incompetent as Trump in charge of the nation if we have an outbreak? Remember how many outbreaks we had under Bush, Obama, that never got big. It was in the news 1 minute, it was out the news the next. SARS, MERS, Ebola, swine flu. In the news 1 minute, out the news the next minute. Why? Because you had competent leadership who took care of the issue. And one of the ways they took care of it is by, one, as soon as the people that they identified as being exposed or possibly infected or actually infected, they quarantined them. That was step one. What is Trump doing? The same thing he did during COVID. Being late to respond and letting the people you know are infected, you know are sick, or know who have been exposed to it, wander around the country. So you're not going to quarantine them. So that means if they want to go to a concert, a club, a bar, or go into public spaces, restaurants, or anything, they're just free to do so. You're just going to keep an eye on them.
and then taken to the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha. Authorities are now monitoring at least 9 other Americans in 6 states. So far, none showing signs of illness. These planes will transport all of the passengers to their destinations after that ship arrives in the overnight hours. The extraordinary preparations underway after 3 people died in the outbreak.
Look at that. So you know who the people are. You even going to have them flown instead of just keeping them quarantined to make sure they don't got it and make sure they can't spread it. You're going to use CDC aircraft to fly them home private first class. Basically, all right, you're going to get off the boat. We're going to give you a bullshit inspection, and then we're going to put you on a plane and fly you to wherever city you live in and just let you go about it. And we're just going to keep tabs on you. We're just going to keep tabs on you. Oh, shout out to Justin March in the building, my first moderator. He just gifted people, he just gifted 10 memberships. Family, if he gifted you a membership, keep it going. If you don't like the level because it's too high, whatever the case may be, you can just drop it down to a lower level, but keep it going. Shout out to you, Justin March. Peace and blessings. But yeah, nonsense. 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 And then when the Hantavirus is spreading everywhere, they're going to claim it was some type of hoax, or it was the Jews, or it was the Illuminati, or it ain't that serious. They just COVID was a test run, all kind of nonsense. No. The people are not being exposed on the plane. They got exposed on the ship. The planes is to fly them home after they get off the ship. So we know that 17 people have been exposed and possibly infected or are infected with the Hantavirus. They are going to get off the ship. The CDC is going to bring them to this little makeshift bullshit place, give them a bullshit inspection, and then put them on a plane, a private plane, and fly them home. So let's say, for example, somebody got off and they live in Dallas. They're going to give them a bullshit inspection and then put them on a plane and fly them to Dallas and let them go about their business and just keep an eye on them. And just keep an eye on them.
Break. Officials now trying to calm fears, saying this is not a global pandemic. ABC's Maggie Rulli leads us off from the Canary Islands.
Yes, it's not a global pandemic now, but this is how it gets turned into a global pandemic. This is how it get turned into a global pandemic. Doing stupid shit like this. COVID shouldn't have been a global pandemic, but it became that way because of Trump's stupidity. Remember, SARS is more deadly than COVID. And that happened under Bush, and Bush handled that. How many Americans died from that? Bush, mind you, who was regarded as one of the worst and stupidest presidents in American history, especially modern American history, would have handled this situation better than what Trump is doing right now.
Tonight, CDC officials tracking that Hantavirus outbreak on a luxury cruise ship say there is no mandatory quarantine for the 17 Americans on board returning to the U.S.
No mandatory quarantine is the right path to go. With the data we have, it's only symptomatic people that are passing on Hantavirus. And so if people are asymptomatic, they are not at risk based on what we know today.
Authorities are currently investigating 8 cases related to the Hantavirus outbreak and its origins.
Why even take the chance? Remember, COVID death rate was 1 to 3%. Hunters is 30 to 40%. Why even play the game? Why even take the chance? We didn't take this chance with Ebola. We didn't take this chance with swine flu. We didn't take this chance with MERS. We didn't take this chance with SARS. We didn't take this chance with any of the other stuff that was coming out. Zika. We didn't take these chances. Why take the chance with this?
People have died, all passengers of the MV Hondius. Local authorities in the U.S. are tracking 9 people in 6 states that have potentially been exposed. None have symptoms. The MV Hondius has been traveling to the Canary Islands in Spain since it left Cape Verde on Wednesday. It's expected to arrive in Tenerife early Sunday morning.
This right here is where we expect the ship to be anchored offshore, arriving in the early hours tomorrow morning. And we've been here at the port watching as police and authorities rush to prepare for those passengers. You can see a multiple police setup right now. That is where the passengers will finally disembark that cruise ship.
In Spain, locals are conflicted, the ship's arrival bringing back memories of the COVID-19 pandemic. Samantha Aguirre, a 12-year resident, saying that while they don't feel entirely safe, they also need to have empathy for those on board. On board the Hondius, Dr. Steve Kornfeld, an American from Oregon, stepping in after the doctor on board got sick while treating hantavirus patients.
Then it just kind of escalated.
Telling us on the phone that right now, no one on board has any symptoms.
There's been a lot of recriminations and finger pointing. And I've lived all this, and I am a physician, so I have a kind of a high sense of suspicion about things. Even in retrospect, I don't think any clues were missed. I have nothing but accolades for this boat and everybody on it.
The WHO says those repatriation flights could start taking people home throughout Sunday and Monday, pushing back on concerns, saying this is not another COVID and that the risk to public health remains low.
I know Tenerife is ready, prepared, and I know Spain is ready and prepared.
Maggie Rulli joining us now from the Canary Islands. So, Maggie, what is expected to happen once that ship arrives?
Yeah, once that ship is anchored offshore, they plan to start evacuations as soon as possible. The Spanish government wants to get those passengers off of the Canary Islands and onwards towards their home countries. Now, for the Americans, that means they'll be met and escorted by the CDC, taken back to the States, and sent straight to the National Quarantine Unit in Omaha, Nebraska.
All right, Maggie, we appreciate your reporting.
Yeah, we got to get off that.
We begin this hour.
That shit just pissed me off. That shit just pissed me off. Shout out to everybody in the building. Exactly. One giant petri dish. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you're making the likes look like the views. Like, I can't believe that shit. That shit just, yeah. Let me get off that, because I'm starting to curse now, and I'm getting real aggravated about that. Like, come on, man. Come on. This is how pandemics start. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Lord of Slaughter. They're gonna blame everybody else. Let the cases start. Let the cases start happening. Let them start happening. It's gonna be the Jews. It's gonna be immigrants. It's gonna be everybody. It's gonna be the Illuminati. It's gonna be the devil. It's gonna be aliens. It's gonna be lizard men. It's gonna be Obama. It's going to be the Democrats. It's going to be everybody except the Trump administration. Yep. That's what we doing. Thank Justin March for the memberships, baby. Yeah. So yeah, let's get off this. Yes, ridiculous. They show no symptoms. A lot of people show no symptoms when they first get infected. And then the symptoms develop later. That's why they said we're gonna check them out. That's why I said a bullshit medical screening. Oh, are you sick? Oh, you're not sick? All right, we're gonna send you home and just let us know if you get sick or you start to feel bad. How many of those people, if they start feeling bad, just gonna go to their local hospital and just spread it all around there while they sitting in the emergency room? Nonsense. Exactly. But yeah, I can't find the video I'm looking for, but maybe I'll look for it later. But yeah, we got to move on. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you supporting the stream. Make sure you thumbing up the stream. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff. Go subscribe to my second channel. Yeah, they flagging me over here. Let me see something. All right. Next topic. We going on to Vaush right now. We're going to see what Vaush got to say about the Black congressional districts being destroyed. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's go.
We do have the Supreme Court fast-tracking the elimination of a Black majority district in Louisiana. That's pretty cool. Apparently, they're delaying the primary to redraw the map. They're not just delaying the primary. The governor of Louisiana is tossing out an ongoing vote in order.
Oh, shout out to everybody in the building. Remember, shout out to you, Tabitha. If you can't support monetarily, you can support with the fire emojis. fire emojis and hitting that heart reaction button. Do that for me, family.
To redraw the maps. Like tens of thousands of people voted in local elections, and he's just throwing them in the trash so that he can really quickly get out this new Louisiana congressional map that has one less black district. No commentary on this one.
Welcome back. The nationwide redistricting battle is escalating. Protests outside of Alabama's State House and a heated exchange between Supreme Court justices. The High Court on Monday taking further action that will allow Louisiana to use a new map for the upcoming primaries. NTD's Melina Weisskopf joins us live. Good morning, Melina. Good to see you. First, tell us about the latest Supreme Court action.
Hey, good morning, Steph. So justices on Monday released an additional procedural ruling that will allow their previous ruling on the Voting Rights Act to be effective immediately instead of waiting 32 days, as is usual with rulings like this.
So the context here is that Louisiana was there was a push for a map that would add a second black majority district to Louisiana, which conformed to the previous rules of the Voting Rights Act. It was the case against it was brought to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court in response gutted the Voting Rights Act, meaning that Louisiana no longer needed to have that second black majority district. And then in an incredibly rare move, the Supreme Court also, in addition, said, oh, by the way, you can fast track that map change. Like you can actually just not wait 30 days. You can go right ahead and immediately blitz to get rid of that second black majority district to implement the new map with less black representation. You can just get that done immediately. The Supreme Court almost never does this. Under any other court, they would be forced to wait until after the midterms to draw a new map.
Exactly. And this is what I said would happen. Because again, people kept arguing me down that, oh, the Supreme Court can't do this. The Supreme Court can't do that. Oh, they won't do this. They won't do that. There's no mechanism to do that. I said this, like we living in the era of I'm white and I say so. They're just going to do whatever they want to do. They're going to do whatever they want to do and just say it's legal because we said so. This is not legal. This is against protocol. This is against all standards. I would even argue it's against the law because I said it wasn't legal. I'll take that back. I'm just gonna say it should be illegal. I'm gonna say that. This is what we're seeing right now. I told you this was coming, just like that. And that was another reason why the Fearless Fund, when they was fighting their case, they just gave up because they knew if it went to the Supreme Court would not only rule against them, but they would use that as a way to create law to create the key things like the Fearless Fund from even happening all out the whole country. Like, this is ridiculous. We told you this was going to happen.
Has not done this, Steph. Louisiana might have been forced to use the old map that was just deemed unconstitutional. But this change that the justices made led to heated back and forth, specifically between Justice Samuel Alito and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Alito wrote that because the election is so close, prompt action by the court was warranted. And then Justice Jackson dissented that the court is not content to have decided the law. She says it now takes steps to influence its implementation. Then Alito responded to this dissent, pretty much saying that the court can't avoid taking action when needed simply because some might accuse it of being partisan. Alito called such accusations unjustified. Now, this comes, of course, after the governor in Louisiana delayed the primary election to give legislators more time to draw that new map that will comply with the law. Legislators have already started that process of redrawing their lines, and a vote is possible to approve that map by next week. Democrats in Louisiana, remember, could lose 2 seats under the map that's still in the works right now, Steph.
Yeah, Melina.
42,000 votes have already been cast in Louisiana. Yep. It's crazy. The Supreme Court just like, yeah, not only can you like, again, I think if you had told somebody 10 years ago that this was going to happen, nobody would believe you. Nobody would believe the Supreme Court would gut the Voting Rights Act, which is, again, exactly what it's not like lefty hyperbole.
You people would have believed it because I was saying it 10 years ago. I told people this was gonna happen. Like, again, this is nonsense about, oh, nobody would have believed that this was gonna happen. None of you lefties would have believed that this was gonna happen. None of y'all believed that this was going to happen. Y'all believed that they wouldn't go this far. This is why I told people you don't win by losing. You don't play the acceleration in this game because you never know where it's going to go. You never know how far it's going to go. And I also told people that Trump is not a regular Republican. Like y'all keep thinking when y'all thinking of Trump, y'all thinking of Bush, y'all thinking of Reagan, y'all thinking of Nixon, y'all thinking of Bush 1, his father. He's not that. He's not that. He's not that. I told people this was going to happen. I told people, and guess what? It's happening. And now it's like, who could have saw this coming? I told you that. All the people who helped make this happen are all going to turn around and say, well, nobody couldn't have saw this coming. How was anybody supposed to know that they would do something like this? Yeah, totally crazy how a black man helped do this. And again, that black man will be quote unquote FBA. You don't see none of the FBA bozos attacking him or talking about how he's undermining black people. Nobody's talking about that. I don't know if Vaush was into Lolly. I saw the controversy, and it's like I can't really say because a lot of that anime stuff is like CP. That's why I don't deal with it like that, because it'd be like you got a girl who look like she 11, but it's okay for her to be in a relationship with a grown man because she's really 10,000 years old. She just looked like 11. Like, it's too easy because, again, it's a lot of drawings that somebody could draw a drawing and say, oh, this is an 18-year-old. And then somebody else could draw a similar drawing and say, this is a 12-year-old. And then now that goes from hentai to lolly. So I don't even get involved in that stuff. But yeah, let's keep it going. You said the Democrats saw this coming. They let them people. What you said? People let it happen. The Democrats couldn't stop this. What are you talking about? They lost the election. So how did they let anything happen? Exactly. Democrats lose election. They have no power. People turn around and blame the Democrats. And mind you, the same people blaming the Democrats are the same people responsible for this. Y'all let this happen by not voting for Hillary Clinton. Y'all let that happen.
They really did gut it to the ground. And then, in addition, say that it would be legal for the governor to toss out votes in an ongoing active election so that you could get that new less black map out as quickly as possible. Like, it's unfathomable. No one would believe you. If you went back in time and said this would happen, even liberals would be like, come on. Come on. Come on.
That's a lie. Again, people were saying this in 2016, 10 years ago, the election against Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. People were saying this. That was the main point people were bringing up. That do you want to hand Donald Trump bare minimum 2 seats on the Supreme Court? He actually ended up getting 3. People were saying this. See, this is the problem with you lefties. Y'all don't listen. Y'all just as dismissive of black people as conservatives are. Black people, if you go back to black media around this time, they were all saying this. But you lefties who were telling people not to vote for Hillary Clinton were like, oh, that ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna be that bad. In fact, this could actually be good because Trump can get in there and he could do such a bad job that once he does the bad job, everybody will just see like, hey, we don't want establishment Democrats, and the Republican Party has lost their mind, so let's vote for Bernie Sanders. That's what y'all was pushing. Not only they don't just suffer from a lack of imagination, they not as smart as they think they are. See, like I said, like the lefties are the most quote unquote book smart. But a lot of times when you really book smart, that shit don't translate to the real world. They smart in theory. Just like yesterday when we was talking to the dude, he was like, well, theoretically speaking, they could pack the court, which is not going to happen. In reality, that's not going to happen. That's the problem. They don't listen. They think they know everything. And again, It's because they don't understand how vicious racists really are. They don't understand. They don't understand what I'm white and I say so is. They don't understand how hateful to black people these people really are. It ain't liberals. That's lefties. It ain't liberals, because liberals saw this coming. But in a way, they wasn't as militant and stormed down about it as black people were. But again, people keep saying, well, no one would have believed you. Yeah, because nobody wants to take black people serious. Exactly. Book smart, lacking common sense. Exactly. I am going to tell them. Because again, they saying, oh, like he's saying, this is lefty cope. Oh, nobody would have believed this 10 years ago if you had told them. People were saying this 10 years ago. People were saying this 10 years ago. And this is what we're talking about. You do not win by losing. Like you don't win by losing. Like, disgusting. No one would have believed this.
Like, nobody would, yeah. And you can't even challenge it? Nope, the high priests have decided. The elected for life, or the selected for life high priests have decided it. That's been John Roberts' main goal since Reagan, though it's crazy he's actually been able to achieve it. Yep, they're getting everything they want. What was the...
See? Oh, I thought you said nobody could have imagined this, and they was trying to do this since Reagan. See, this is the game. Nobody take black people serious. Nobody take when black people talk serious. Nobody take when black people issue serious. Nobody. See, the same lefties who couldn't be bothered to vote for Hillary Clinton, even though black people was telling them that our literal rights, everything we fought for 150 years at that time is could we put it on the chopping block, they didn't care. And then those same lefties will turn around in this election that just passed, talk about, well, we can't vote for Kamala Harris because Gaza. Yes, that's another reason they don't take it serious, because they don't get hurt by this. Like I said, that's another reason why I attack the so-called black lefties, because it's like, you do realize that the white lefties you following behind, they say the things that they say because a lot of them know that they're not going to, if worst case scenario happens, that they think is worst case scenario, that's going to be worst case scenario for you, not for them. Not for them. Yes, exactly. Singing a different tune now. Total different tune. See, they were so happy they got destroyed. They was loud and proud about it. Now that they see that, oh, the Republicans is really messing up our plan now. Now it's back to, oh, solidarity. Now it's back to, oh, we in this together. Now it's back to, oh, look what they're doing to us. When they was doing it to us, when they was doing it to us as black people, it was, we don't care about y'all. Now that it's happening to everybody and this monkey wrench is being thrown in y'all plans, now it's, oh, look what's happening to us. Look what's happening to us.
Logic of the lifetime appointment. I think the founding fathers thought that men of some decency would remain the political crop rather than like illiterate, stupid, pedophile, retard Zionists. I think the founding fathers had overly optimistic expectations about the general direction of the electorate and the politicians with regard to their like honesty, I suppose. Yeah, also everyone died at like 60 or 70.
So primary elections are happening in Indiana and Ohio today, two states where
you said Democrats put on some kente cloth to stop it. Well, by you not rolling with the Democrats who put on the kente cloth, now you will allow Donald Trump and the Republicans to put Supreme Court robes on a bunch of people who are going to take all your rights now. How you sound? How you sound? Exactly. And remember, they was attacking black people for pointing out, like, hold on now, Trump getting another term could really mess black people up. It could really destroy everything. Y'all see Project 2025. Y'all see what they talking about, right? Exactly. That's why it wasn't about saving no damn Gaza. It wasn't about saving no Gaza. This was them pushing their accelerationist play. This was them pushing their class reductionist play. It wasn't about saving no damn Gaza. Correct. You laughing, but who's losing all their rights? Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you're liking the stream.
Redistricting has become a top issue, and they're not the only places where new voting maps could have an impact this midterm season. Joining us this morning is CBS News Executive Director of Elections.
How about civil exams for candidates? I think we need civil exams for voters. I think that, like, I'm sorry, again, I know it might come across as hyperbolic, but I want you all to understand I'm being dead serious when I say that democracy has failed. Like, the set of rules that was built.
The democracy didn't fail. Y'all failed the democracy. You lefties failed the democracy. That's like somebody saying, hey, vote for an establishment candidate or vote for an insane pedophile serial killer. And you say, well, I'm not going to vote for the establishment candidate because XYZ. And people are telling you, if you don't vote for the establishment candidate, you get the insane pedophile serial killer is going to be president. He's going to have all the power. And then they said they didn't care. Now the insane pedophile serial killer has all the power. Now it's, the democracy has failed. You failed the democracy. You failed the democracy.
To bring about good outcomes is not bringing about good outcomes. The bad outcomes that we're getting are not brief temporal fluctuations. They're not within the range of expected decision making. These are genuinely nation and civilization ruining decisions that are continuing to compound and worsen an already broken system. The set of incentives that we have built simply don't work.
Yes, because they was never the party of law and order. Law and order was just their dog whistle for racism. That was just their way of saying, we're just gonna throw black people in jail. We're just gonna mass incarcerate black people. That's what we're gonna do. That's what law and order means to these people. Mass incarceration of black people. That's it.
Pretend they have, but if you do, you're delusional. Like, at this point, we need to start talking about, like, fundamental restructuring of how we think about the democracy that we live in and the democracy we want to live in. And it's just not. That would require a constitutional convention and a constitutional amendment. Well, the formation of the United States of America didn't require the consent of the British king, did it? No, we do not need to be ruled by billionaire pedophiles for all time, forever.
Kamala Harris was not a billionaire pedophile.
Eventually, this will snap, and we're every day we're getting closer to snapping. Like,
now the lefties are coping. So remember, when the conservatives saw that they thought they could never win an election again, they started talking all that Civil War stuff. Now that the lefties are seeing all the stuff that's coming down now and seeing how corrupt Trump is and how corrupt the Republicans are, now they're talking Civil War. Now they're talking a revolution. Horseshoe theory. I don't even know if this is horseshoe theory. Matter of fact, that's not horseshoe theory. That's just I don't even have a phrase for it because I'm so angry. Now you're talking revolution, violent revolution. You know how we could not have to worry about violent revolution if people would have just voted for Hillary Clinton, if people would have just voted for Kamala Harris. Put yourself in this position. I'm not even addressing that. I don't even know what you even mean by that.
The rubber band effect, and we're going to have to work on keeping this from happening again. We have to learn from Reconstruction. You know, what happened after the Civil War? We basically didn't do anything to restructure incentives within the South. And now, as a consequence, today, you know, Confederate apologia runs rampant, and the general political interests of the white majority in the South have remained largely unchanged since the pre-Civil War days, certainly with regard to like their animus towards Black Americans, immigrants, and so on. We know like what they want. They succeeded. The Confederacy succeeded in making the North more like them.
And whose fault is that? That's your fault. That's people like you. That's you lefties' fault. Y'all think y'all smarter than what y'all really are. And this is how we get to this point.
Confederacy succeeded. They made every rural American like them.
Surveys, Anthony Salvanto. Good to see you.
How are you?
All right, so let's start with Louisiana. Explain that ruling from the Supreme Court on that landmark decision striking down the state's redrawn congressional map.
So the short answer to that, Vlad, is that Louisiana is going to end up redrawing its maps. And what I'm showing you here is the red and blue Republican voting districts and 2, in this case, Democratic voting districts. But this is as a result of the VRA ruling. And what that means, the background here is that since the Voting Rights Act, the court previously has interpreted that to mean that when states draw their districts, they can't do so in a way that, in the judgment of those, in the courts, that might dilute the voting power of minority voters including these states. So with this court ruling now, Louisiana is going to go back and they're going to redraw these districts. And the net here could be that both of these are majority minority districts, Black voters here. This could go away. At least one of them could go away.
Both of them are probably going to go away. And you're right, Julius. All these bozos. Nobody want to vote for Kamala Harris. Nobody want to vote for her because y'all thought y'all was going to run y'all acceleration of this bullshit plan through. And then it didn't work. Now you want to advocate for violent revolution.
Also want to talk about Florida, right?
If we don't do it through the amendment process, it'll be done after violent revolt in a new system. I just think that they need to ignore the rules. You can do that. Republicans do it all the time. The Supreme Court has decided on objectively unconstitutional, like the Supreme Court just gutted the Voting Rights Act for no reason. There's no real constitutional justification for it. They just did it. You can just ignore, you can just do it. Power is power. If you have a mandate, that's it. That's all that really matters, as they've demonstrated. Like you can accuse me of being a radical, but I genuinely think that what I'm describing right now is the only, it's not only the only thing we can do, it's the guaranteed to happen. It's literally guaranteed because the direction we're being sent in right now is oblivion. And I do think there will be a pivot. We will turn away from oblivion at some point or another, but the rules are set up in such a way that the only way to avoid oblivion is to just not follow them. The rules have been structured in such a way as to guarantee that if we continue to follow them as is, the other side, the bad actors, will continue to guarantee oblivion until we decide we won't let them do that anymore. So it's really just a matter of under what conditions you want it to happen. You know what I mean? You have to, if you think about it along more simple lines, we're really just looking for where the breakpoint is going to be, right? Imagine you have a system wherein you produce enough food for everyone, but enough food is taken by the people at the top that many people starve. And as time goes on, more and more people are starving.
Exactly. And I want to say this, it's really the white leftists. The white leftists are the ones who insist on making this big, broad, class-based coalition. And mind you, the only way to do that is to bring in racist white people. And that's basically was their gambit this whole time, to try to create some type of solidarity with racist white people. This is why now a bunch of them are, Tucker Carlson, he's base. Nick Fuentes is telling people not to support Trump. Base. Graham Plattner, he got a Nazi tattoo, but okay, what does that mean? Fetterman in Pennsylvania, he pulled a gun on a black person on some racist shit. Oh no, but let's ignore that. They got it right on the class issues. Mind you, the white liberal wasn't trying to bring in no racist white people into their coalition. They didn't care about the racist white people in flyover country. They never even reached out to them. They never even talked to them. Again, that's one of the white liberals' critiques of the white leftists, that, oh, you got all these people that you just abandoned. You're not even attempting to reach out to them. Yeah, because they racist. And the only way we can get them to support us is if we allow them to be racist in our midst. And we're not doing that. You're right. That's why I said that. I was looking, I'm like, no, this is not horseshoe theory. This is just, this is just the culture. This is just the culture. Exactly. But instead of them telling them to stop being racist, what do they tell other people? Hey, tone down the woke stuff. Hey, let's get rid of the identity politics. Hey, let's just focus on class. Correct. But yeah, let's keep it going.
Eventually, everyone will starve, or the rules have to be changed. Well, the only one who can change the rules are the people on top. Okay, they're not going to change them. Then what do? I guess civilization's over. I guess like the grand experiment has led us to this point, but now there is a confluence of environmental and legal circumstances that make it impossible for us to continue beyond this point without breaking a rule, and we can't break rules, so obviously we all have to die. Like it's really just, where is the fracture point, and when is it going to fracture? That's it. The goal should be fixing democracy, though, not tearing it down more. Everything that I have said and everything that I've advocated for is born of a love of true democracy. It is, what we have right now is not meaningfully democracy. Democracy isn't just like a set of little bullet points you're supposed to fill out. It's not a checkbox. It's a representation of the will in a political system to represent the interests of the people who participate. It goes beyond, you can create a million little rules that technically tick the boxes, but in practice don't represent the interests of the people. Let me ask you, I'm being serious, is it democracy if people vote time and time again to give away their political rights and to give more money to the police, to the military, because they're being told day in and day out by a combined media and political class that the world is getting more dangerous, crime is on the rise, and the only way for you and your family to remain safe is to do those things, when they are wrong, when they're lying, when the media and the political class are just lying. Like, the world is safer than it ever has been. Crime is on the way down. You do not, in fact, need to give up your rights and your money to the police and military. If people then, because of that disinformation, vote consistently, time and time again, vote away their rights, vote in favor of more military and police spending, is that a democracy? Really, I mean it. Like, technically, yes, they are voting of their own free will for what they believe is in their best interests. Is it really a democracy? I guess my answer there is that no, it's not. Because it's violating the spirit of the democracy. You know, you can set up a Plato's cave and convince people to vote against their own interests easily if you control enough, if you're wealthy enough, if you're powerful enough, if you have enough friends. Is that really the limit of what a democracy can be? You're just giving the wealthy a set of tools and a big toolbox to manipulate your opinion until eventually you just agree with everything they want you to do anyway? That can't possibly be the end. That can't be how this all ends. Democracy is just like a failed experiment, the whole thing? I believe we can do better.
Same day that ruling came down, Governor Ron DeSantis also signed into a redrawing of the congressional map. What's the latest there?
So I'm going to show you this. Florida in context, you mentioned at the top, Indiana and Ohio. Mm-hmm. This is notable because, yes, the Republicans could gain a seat, maybe a few more out of Ohio due to their redistricting. Indiana did not. And yes, as some politicos have reported, that's drawn the ire in some respects of the White House. Florida now is moving to redraw its districts and try to net the Republicans now maybe 3, maybe 4 seats. The issue here is that this, as apart from the Voting Rights Act,
a functioning democracy requires an educated population. Yeah, but we don't have one right now. Right now, the population and their preferences and
we had everything we needed to have a functioning democracy. The problem is that the people who should have knew better went against the grain because good wasn't good enough for them. They made the great the enemy of the good. because you wasn't getting everything you wanted. That's the reason we have this issue. Y'all went against the grain. And mind you, the lefties are the reason we even have a Republican president in the 21st century. Think about it. Bush, Bush, when he got elected, how many lefties voted for the Green Party? Hillary Clinton, how many lefties told people not to vote and voted for the Green Party? Kamala Harris, how many lefties didn't vote or told people not to vote? This is y'all got blamed in this. Y'all could have swung this. Yes, those candidates weren't your candidates. And yes, they weren't pandering to you. But at the end of the day is over. You saw what was coming down the pipe with the Republican Party. You knew how bad the Republicans could be. And you still didn't vote for the Democrats. Maybe you didn't know how bad the Republicans was going to be. Because, yeah, maybe you didn't know that Bush would do the war on terror. Trump would be a disaster. And then he would get reelected and be an even bigger disaster. Maybe you didn't know all that. Maybe you really did lack the imagination. What you did know is that you knew the Democrats was better than the Republicans. You knew that the Democrats were closer to getting, you could get closer to getting what you want via the Democrats than you could Republicans. But guess what? You still helped the Republicans win.
Their beliefs are being completely controlled by the ruling class. So, what do we do then? You know? You think you're going to be able to just, educate fascism out of the population in a generation or two? No.
Exactly. We know we couldn't educate them out of it. This is why that's why we were told to keep them out of a position of power. It doesn't matter if somebody is a racist and they hate black people, if they have no power to act on that racism. That's the point. You keep talking about, we can't, you think we can educate them out of the fascism? No, we can't educate them out of their racism, out of their fascism. We knew that. That's why we want to have power over them. That's why we don't want people who represent their interests to be in a position of power. That's the whole point of that. The whole point of that.
No. Have to act a little bit faster than that. That's true, Masaigu, though it's worth noting that the UK has a radically different electoral system and they are facing the exact same problem. In fact, they're farther along in the process. Germany's doing the same thing. France is doing the same thing. Everywhere across the West, every democracy is falling into the exact same set of patterns, at least every major one. Spain's more autonomous to an extent, though, we'll see how long that lasts. It's a long battle. Democratic backslide's a thing. Yeah, I just wish that people wouldn't think of democratic backslide as an incidental and unfortunate potential within a democratic system, and rather as the inevitable consequence of all democratic systems based on the current set of rules that we allow for them. Democratic backslide isn't just a part of the shaky path towards progress. Democratic backslide is potentially the permanent end of democracy as a global system of governance, the end of the era. We didn't experience feudalism backslide. Feudalism ended. It stopped being a viable political system. Do you want more warm butt? Do you want to sit on the computer?
Yeah, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Exactly. And this is the problem. That's why words can't describe my disdain for the FBA bozos, the black lefties. I'm gonna say the online black lefties. I words can't describe it, because again, we could have single-handedly stopped this. Forget what the white leftists did, because again, those weren't their candidates. They didn't want those people, and their rights weren't up for grabs. Our rights was up for grabs. Our everything we worked for, everything we fought for was up for grabs. We could have single-handedly stopped all of this by coming out and voting for Hillary Clinton. We could have made this situation not as bad by single-handedly coming out and voting for Kamala Harris. And it's not even just black people. It's mainly black men. That's what got me real mad, because I'm a black man. and knowing that black men could have stopped all of this and didn't, that's the part that got me real mad. Exactly. Racism. A bunch of racist white people who ready to throw everything they ancestors work for away because they afraid of black people. They don't want black people to have anything. That's what it all come down to. Just like America. All these white people turned on the Democratic Party like this, even though virtually all of them have everything they have because of the Democratic Party. They turned on it. Why? Because the Democratic Party said, hey, maybe black people should get some too. These people don't care. They will burn everything to the ground just to make sure black people don't have none or don't get access to it. I just, no words. No words for this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Like, this shit pissed me off. This shit done pissed me off. Matter of fact, look at this bozo, Phil. This bozo is talking about Tennessee being on redistrict. And look, he's talking about eliminated by the Republicans. What's next for us? I want to show y'all something. The African Diaspora Channel has pretty much died. And good for that. Because he only does live streams over here. These shits be getting no views unless he's literally dick riding the Democratic Party. No views. Look at this. Look at this channel. 2,000. Like 13 talking about the Democrats. 2,000 not talking about the Democrats. 2,000 not talking about the Democrats. 24,000 talking about the Democrats. Not talking about the Democrats. Not talking about the Democrats. Not talking about the Democrats. Talking about the Democrats. He got a little bit more views there. Got a little bit more views there. Got a little bit more views here. That's that. Like, again, your channel is dead, and I'm happy that the diaspora is abandoning your channel. I'm happy about that. They're abandoning your channel. So the only time you can get views is if you putting out FBA content. What is this nonsense? That's not Clyburn's seat, you moron. That's black people's seat. Let's play this, because again, I'm gonna play this, and then I'm pretty much probably gonna end the stream here.
Clyburn.
Shout out to everybody in the building. We about to listen to this bozo. This bozo right here talk about Clyburn, James Clyburn, the most powerful black man in Congress. Let's see this bozo celebrate him possibly losing his seat, which is not just him losing his seat. That's black people losing that seat, because his seat is a black seat. When he eventually, like, whether he gets outvoted, whether he was to die in office or retire, that seat would have been passed on to a black person. Now, that seat will not be passed on to a black person because it won't exist anymore. Now, let's hear this bozo celebrate that.
Clyburn. Boy, I tell you. You know, Clyburn, you know, I remember when people was pulling up to you about reparations. You remember that?
If you wait on tax payments to come out of reparations, you're going to wait forever. It's not going to happen. So what you got to do, let me talk. Don't put that in my face. Why are you touching me? Okay, all right.
What did he say wrong? Because of the way the country is set up right now, at this moment, if all you care about and all you trying to push is reparations, and you waiting on that, you're going to wait forever. He was trying to give you the game about how we can get policies in place that will actually help black people in the here and now. How you could help black people in the here and now. What was wrong with that? That made all the sense in the world. Y'all still waiting on reparations. And guess what? It ain't come yet. It ain't come yet.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Cut the check. Tell Nancy Pelosi to cut the check.
Yeah.
Look at these stupid people. And he's celebrating this like this makes sense. Like, oh, look, you laughed at us when we was asking for reparations because you sound stupid. How is Nancy Pelosi going to cut a check for reparations? How? How that work? Oh, I support the Democratic Party, but as of right now, the Democratic Party that I supported basically doesn't exist anymore. So it's like basically undergoing a change. It's undergoing a change not for the better. But in the final equation, it still might be better than the Republican Party. So that's what I got to say about that. Exactly.
You do that for me?
She's the treasurer.
Cut the check. Somebody better cut the check. Reparations are owed, sir.
Talk to the
ADOS, you're not going to run away from this issue, Congressman.
Oh, I'm not trying to run away from it.
It seems like you are. You're walking away right now.
Oh.
But people pulled up on you at the fish fry, okay? And you was laughing in their face.
Because they stupid. I would laugh in somebody's face too if they came up to me talking about, I'm trying to explain to them that the way the government is set up right now, if you're just waiting on reparations, you're going to wait forever. It's better to try to get some policies through that can help us in the here and now. And then the person start talking about, oh, why you touching me? We having a regular conversation and you like, oh, why you touching me? And then I walk away from you because you obviously stupid. And then you start talking about Nancy Pelosi cut the check. Insane.
About reparations, you remember? You was wanting people removed because they was asking you about reparations. It was all, you were laughing at them. See, it was funny back then talking about the reparations, but is it funny now, Clyburn? Is it funny? Is it a joke now that they about to get you out of Congress? Not because the people didn't want you there no more. I mean, I think you should have been gone personally. You should have, I mean, come on. I mean, dude, you mean tell me no young brother or sister couldn't do that? See what's happening to y'all.
No young brother or sister could have wielded the power that Clyburn wields now. Clyburn's so powerful that they create positions of leadership that don't even exist just for him. That's how powerful he is. You think if he was to be replaced today or tomorrow by some random young black person, they would have that kind of power and influence that he has? That's how stupid you are. Not to mention that no young black person will be replacing him because the seat is gone. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. It still exists right now, but they are having sessions right now as we speak to get rid of that seat.
A lot of you in the Congressional Black Caucus, you have forsaken Black America. You don't care about what Black Americans are talking about. A lot of you had held contempt toward Black America. Isn't that right? They're holding contempt. Y'all are out here promoting illegal immigration. Y'all's out here promoting LGBT. And when it's time to come vote, these people.
That is a lie. That is a lie. No one can explain. What's up? Yeah, it hurt my heart too. This shit hurt. It hurt to hear somebody with this big of a platform, this old, talk this stupid. Talk this stupid. And again, he just said that they was promoting illegals. That's a lie. That's a lie. He said they was promoting LGBTQ. That's a lie. In fact, one of the reasons the white online lefties hate the Congressional Black Caucus, especially Jim Clyburn, is because they don't push the LGBTQ, especially Clyburn. Clyburn votes against it. Every time an issue come up when it's LGBTQ, Clyburn votes against it. What are you talking about? You just making stuff up. Exactly. They don't care. And again, even if black people got all that because of these bozos allowing Trump to win in 2016, so all somebody would have to do is just sue, and the Supreme Court would just say, yeah, reparations for black people is illegal. I'm waiting for that to happen too. I'm waiting for somebody to try to do, because again, all these reparation proposals that are being challenged right now in the courts, I can't wait for one of them to get to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court say, strike it down and say, yeah, giving black people reparations is not only in this situation illegal, but just giving black people reparations, period, is illegal. I can't wait for that Supreme Court decision. I can't wait.
I'm talking about the immigrants who have maybe first generation or just became naturalized who can vote. They don't show up to vote for you.
Now only immigrants show up to vote for Clyburn. Let me show y'all this. Let's get off this slow with it buffoon real quick. We got to. Let me see. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can y'all see my screen? Yeah, y'all can see it. Let's get to this. Right? Let's get to this slow with it buffoon. Not the slow with it buffoon, but let's get to this right here.
Well, tonight, more on a continued Republican push to redistrict the state 4 years ahead of schedule. The new maps creating discourse on both sides of the aisle, with some stating these new maps are gerrymandering district lines. Our Cameron Lime spoke with map designers as well as political experts about the possible change. Cam?
Tessa, this new map was introduced earlier this week. Democrats now firing back, one calling the map a political weapon. But Republicans are looking to implement this new map before March.
But it is a political weapon when here you are in mid-decade trying to redistrict for the sole purpose of maintaining control of the House.
Tonight, new concerns from Democrats in the state after plans for a new district map have been released.
It's giving that choice to the voters in 6th District, who for a long time haven't functionally had a choice. They've been locked into this one guy and his fiefdom.
The new map could change the layout of District 1, 5, 6, and 7. Democrats believe the new map would gerrymander the only Democratic district in the state.
And I always go back to intent when it comes to gerrymandering and really with anything in politics and policy. So I think that Representative Pace should very clearly articulate and carefully what his intent here is.
Pace, the designer of the map, claims that all districts are gerrymandered regardless.
Gerrymandering is going to happen, but what we don't want to do is gerrymander for a person. That is beyond the pale.
District 6 is currently represented by Jim Clyburn, who has held the seat since 1993. Political experts say while the map may look fair, the voter makeup of the district matters.
It's the connection right now of where do people live and what do they have in similarities to this. It'll be the key answers to those questions that will address the opportunity for this to move forward constitutionally.
And according to the 2024 census, District 6 is the only district to have a majority Black population. We reached out to Representative Clyburn's office for comment and did not hear back in time for the report. Working for you, Cameron Limes, News 4.
As you saw, that's a black seat. That's not Clyburn's seat. That's a black seat. And once it's gone, it's gone. This is not the time to troll. Yeah, let's get back to this.
But your party, and we're talking about the Congressional Black Caucus, you have never stood on business for things for Black America. You own this minority coalition crap when the rest of the community say we are not in no minority coalition with nobody, because nobody wants to be in a coalition with us. We're not doing one-sided coalitions anymore, and y'all still pushing a minority coalition that has not benefited Black America. Y'all been off code for a very long time. Y'all have this attitude to hell with the Black community. We follow what the white liberal says in the Democrat Party. And now you're going to come around and say, oh, these Republicans, this is racism. Oh, yeah. I mean, duh. Yes, we know that's why they're doing it. But you really can't come to us now about racism, because when we told you about racism, when we told you, and Clyburn's the main reason about Joe Biden, if you really want to go there, the reason why we got Biden is because of him. We told you about all our issues and problems.
This bozo copying me. See, they be watching me, especially him. He be watching me. He be stealing my content too. But anyway, if you ask this bozo, how did Clyburn give us Joe Biden? I bet you he can't answer it. In fact, he'll probably try to look on my channel to see what when I said that, and I explain why that is to find out that answer.
When y'all did the added the special provision to the James Byrd Jr. Matthew Shepard Hate Crimes Act to create a special office within the DOJ to help prosecute anti-Asian hate crimes. Y'all in the Congressional Black Caucus voted for it. You didn't rise up and say, hey.
Of course they did, because black people already have something like that. It's called the Civil Rights Department. I think it's the Civil Rights Division. Duh. One that Trump said he wanted to get rid of in his first term. One that's right now being used against black people. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Hey, why black people aren't, or why you're not creating an office for black Americans when we have can prove by FBI statistics that black Americans are the number one victim of hate crime every year. And you should have said, listen, I don't support hate crime against no group of people. But if you're going to create it for them, you better create one for us. And matter of fact, if you don't, we all in the Congressional Black Caucus not voting for it, and we all going to tell our people the reason why we never didn't vote for it. Because you refuse to protect black Americans. See, Clyburn, if you were standing on business like that, then we all be behind you at this point. If you wasn't laughing in black people's face about reparations, then we could be behind you, Clyburn.
What is black people being behind Clyburn right now gonna help him? There are black people behind Clyburn. That's why he keeps winning the elections. But those black people behind him, what can they do now if South Carolina redistricts his district out of existence? What can they do now? That's the problem. People being behind them doesn't mean anything if they don't have any power.
Burn. Just telling you, brother. Well, I can't speak for we. Let me speak for me. I can't, in good conscience, go defend you against them folks because you've been around them folks for years and your district is still poor. You haven't done nothing for your district in all those years you've been there, sir. And for sure, you haven't done nothing but black people. You talking about you got all this power in the Democrat Party. That's never translated to nothing for the greater good for us in black America. Y'all have voted for foreign wars. Y'all have voted for funding for weapons for people across the seas. But y'all won't stand on business for reparations. Y'all vote for the military budget and all of that constantly. Y'all know every year the almost $1 trillion a year goes to the military. Not now one of y'all stood up and said, hey, wait a minute, hold on. We spending this much on military, but we can't do reparations? And y'all not doing this with a study. And so, you know what? We're not going to vote for no military. Y'all vote on it. We're going to vote no. Y'all vote whatever for you want. We voting no.
This is fucking, I can't put him in double speed because he's a slow-witted buffoon and he sounds terrible. But yeah, we got to speed this up. I know you're not comparing the budget, the military budget of the nation to reparations. How stupid can you be?
And the only reason why is because you claim we need a study for reparations, but we don't need no study to spend almost $1 trillion on military. When we're in debt, we're in a lot of debt, and we still spend all the money we got instead of paying off our debts. You understand what I'm saying? We're what they say, we are $39 trillion in debt. Not $1 billion in debt, $1 trillion in debt. And the money you do get in your hand, you go put it all in the military? So you can keep on waging war on people for what? Nobody ain't bothering us, to be honest with you. They're leaving us alone. They're actually imploding, not us. They're actually imploding on themselves from within. Nobody's attacking them. Yes, Rhonda. The military, yes, you're right. The military service members, the men and women of the military, they don't get that. Matter of fact, they were talking about wanting to do an audit of the money with Department of, well, I guess War now. And they didn't do it. They didn't get it done. A lot of them saying they didn't know where the money going. So all that money, you don't know where it's going? Because military people aren't rich. They're not rich. Soldiers aren't rich. Even generals aren't rich. So where all that money going? But you can't do reparations? You got veterans out here as homeless? That military budget is not used to help the homeless veterans that's on the streets who serve this country? So where all the money going? But they don't question anything. They just go along whatever the Democrat Party wants. Clyburn, you too, go whatever they want it. But now you want to call out.
Exactly. That's a great point. Like I told people before, that reparations talk, they wasn't serious about reparations. They was just using reparations as a way to attack the Democratic Party. Because remember, they only asked Democrats for reparations, and they know reparations is the most hated topic. No candidate could win a presidency by saying, elect me the president and I will give black people reparations. Tens of trillions of dollars, hundreds of trillions of dollars going to black people. No candidate could get elected like that. So they knew by pushing that, if a candidate said yes, they doom their candidacy. If a candidate says no, they can turn around and say, oh, look at this candidate. They don't care about black people. And they knew they could convince a couple of slow-witted buffoons that that's the way to go and to not vote for the candidate, and would lead to the Republican winning. Because remember, like I told y'all before, we talked about before, when they was targeting a lot of this propaganda to the black community, they was mainly targeting black men. They I think it was Steve Bannon who said, we just need to peel off about 20% of the black male population, not even getting them to vote for Trump, just not getting them to vote for the Democrat, and we'll win. Salute 5-point star. Wait, tell me, let me look at something. People say you trolling. I don't know if you trolling or not. I don't know if you trolling or you just somebody who's like pro reparations who don't care about politics. But either way, thanks for the 5. Salute. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Why they not letting you put your message through? That's crazy. They should let you put it through. I don't know why. It's not letting you put it through. Thank you for the fire emojis. Remember, if you can't support monetarily, support with the fire emojis. That's support. That gets me in the algorithm. Especially now, I need it more than ever because YouTube basically has taken me out of their algorithm. So I got to force my way into the algorithm. So I'm not naturally in the algorithm anymore. But salute. And also make sure y'all go subscribe to my second channel. Because remember, this channel is under attack. Thank you. But yeah, let's get back to this bozo.
The Republicans, you've been knowing the Republicans are that way forever. Why say something about the Republicans now? Oh, because now they got a chance to get at you. See, y'all been in these Republicans' face the whole time, and they couldn't wait to get you out of there. They couldn't wait. Let me tell y'all something. You black politicians, them folks don't like you. They have never liked you. You don't understand with that culture is they do this like this fake, this real phony. They play phony nice. They play phony friendly with you.
Who are you talking about playing phony friendly with you? Everybody already knew the Republicans are the enemy. Everybody already knew the Republicans were not our friends. Duh.
It's phony. Because if it was real, they wouldn't be trying to get you out your seat if it was real. They'd be like, nah, man, we know James, right? We've been knowing.
That's Republicans. What are you talking about? Of course, the Republicans are trying to get him out of his seat. He's a Democrat. Not only are they trying to get, and he has a lot of power. Not only are they trying to get him out of his seat, they're trying to eliminate the seat. So nobody can have the seat.
On him for 30 years.
Shout out to RBG for the win, for the $4.99. Thank you for the $4.99. What was your message? That you said you was trying to post a message, but they wouldn't let you post it. What was your message? Let me know. Thank y'all for the fire emojis. Thank y'all for the fire emojis. Again, support the channel. The more comments the video gets during the live stream, the more YouTube is forced to show it up in the algorithm. The more it helps it.
Years. I mean, we're not gonna do that to his seat. I mean, come on, that's the only Democrat. I mean, we run the table. That's the only Democrat seat they got. We're not gonna do that. I mean, he's a good dude. You know, he's a good man. Like, no, he's never rocked the boat, which he's never have. He's never rocked the boat. I mean, he's never really been a threat, so he can have his seat out. They don't even say that about you. You never rocked the boat. Let me tell y'all something. You Boule members.
He did rock the boat. He was a major threat. The Congressional Black Caucus is a major threat to Republicans and to class reductionist lefties. That's why they both celebrating its destruction right now. Duh.
You can never rock. You don't have to ever rock the boat. You can stay docile, and they still gonna come after you. Or you can stand 10 toes down for black people, and at least they come after you. You're gonna have the squad with you at the same time. You're gonna have the team with you because now the community respects you. They'll say, wait a minute, he didn't bow down to them. She didn't bow down to them. She stood 10 toes down. He stood 10 toes down. Oh, so we got to ride for him. You never roll for black people, sir.
I'm happy that's over. My God, my God, my God. Shout out to everybody still in the building. Shout out to everybody who's donating to the stream, helping me. You know, that helps. Because again, imagine having to go through this by yourself. Imagine me having to watch this twice or something like that. Like, come on. This shit crazy. But shout out to everybody in the stream. Shout out, shout out, shout out. But anyway, matter of fact, y'all want to keep going or no? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all want to keep going. Because I just saw something just now. I just saw something just now that I might want to talk about. Matter of fact, yeah, shout out to everybody in the building. We about to get to this. We about to get to this. Hey, time out. Dad, what's going on with my screen? Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, fire emojis. We're going to keep it going. I just saw this from, let me see. Who is this? Let's see. Matter of fact, I seen two things right now. I don't even know who this is. I don't even know how I clicked on this video. I'm gonna just say this is God. Let's roll with this. Let's roll with this. I don't even know how I got to this video, but let's roll with this. Does anybody know who this person is? Marcus Lewis. Does anybody know this guy? I don't know who this is. I just see him talking about black people in Tennessee. Let's just roll with this. Because again, I did not pick this, but hey, let's roll with it.
Governor Bill Lee signs the new state congressional map into law. The new map splitting Memphis into 3 districts and favoring Republicans. Welcome to News 2 at 4. I'm Haley Wilgus. This move comes after days of protest, heated debate, and accusations of racial gerrymandering.
Oh, it split it into 3. They split Memphis in between 3 districts. I thought they did it between 2. Yeah, it's 3.
Take a listen. Protesters calling lawmakers cowards just minutes after the Tennessee House approved the new congressional map. News 2's Tori Gessner has been following this special legislative session since the beginning. She joins us live from the state capitol now. Tori.
Well, Haley, in the time Governor Bill Lee has signed this map into law, demonstrators and Democrats continue to make their voices heard. They gathered on the steps of the Capitol after that map passed.
Because when we go to Memphis, what we see is our culture. What we see is our people. What we see is us being able to exist represented by us. Looking like us, singing like us, rapping like us.
What we see here, we see the black folks is mad in Tennessee because Tennessee is changing up the districts and all that to favor more Republicans. And the black folks is mad. They went after Memphis, which is a predominantly black neighborhood, and split that thing up even more. What I have to say about this is, where were these people at when Memphis has some of the highest crime rates in America?
All right, now we know what kind of bozo we dealing with. A bozo. Imagine expecting regular people to go out and protest every time somebody gets shot. Some of the highest gun violence rates in the entire world, especially the entire Western world, is throughout the South. And some of these areas is white neighborhoods. And what does one issue have to do with the other? Imagine black people protesting because you got racist white people trying to bring back Jim Crow. And you turn around as a black person and look at those protesters and say, all right, you're protesting that, but why didn't you protest just as hard when Shamel killed James over $30 on West Bubblefuck Street? That doesn't even make any sense, bro. That doesn't even make any sense. Another slow-witted buffoon who running it up, basically attacking black people. This is no different than the black conservative perspective, that other guy. This is like easy content. This is like slop. Just every time something racist go on, we're going to just ignore it and talk about, well, why didn't black people say something about the shooting that happened the other day on that other block that 99% of black people don't even know about, don't even live around, and ain't got nothing to do with them.
Where were these black women, these black activists, these black people coming out in droves when somebody's getting shot and killed in Memphis? What I see amongst a lot of these black people that's coming out against these things is, where were you guys at when all of the crime was happening? Why didn't you guys protest your own people?
This has nothing to do with crime. This is about racist white people bringing us back to Jim Crow. This is about Jim Crow 2.0. Who cares about crime? Crime is going to happen. Crime happens everywhere. Like protesting crime ain't going to end crime. I don't know if you know that. Because most crime in the black community anyway is interpersonal. If I got a problem with somebody else and me and them take it to that point where we get violent, no amount of protesting is going to stop that. No amount of protesting is going to stop that. And why would you expect black people to sit around and protest every act of violence that happened in the community? Do Latinos got to protest every act of violence that happened in their community? No. Asians got to protest every act of violence that happened in their community? No. White people? No. Arabs? No. Middle Easterners in general? No. Nobody does. Native Americans? No. Indians? No. Like, come on now. What kind of nonsense is this? That's like somebody saying, I see you Asians sitting around here protesting, stop Asian hate. But where was this protest when, with all that violence going on in the Asian community? Where's all this protest for all this like modern day slavery going on in the Asian community? Where you got people being brought here from China and other countries and being forced to work in Chinese restaurants and not get paid. Where's all the protests for that? Where's the protest for all the Chinese women working in these parlors against their will, basically as sex slaves? Where's the protest for that? You want to protest stop Asian hate, but why you ain't protesting that? This is the nonsense we got to deal with as black people. And the reason we got to deal with this nonsense because it pays. It's easy to do and it pays. Yeah, you're right. Your hat is right. Late bloomers.
You know why they doing this stuff to y'all? It's because they already see that y'all don't care about y'all neighborhoods. So they need to put somebody else in charge to make your neighborhood better.
How is congressional redistricting the only black district in the state trying to make the black community better? Especially when the fact is the person who represents Memphis, this area in Congress, is a white man. I think his name is Steve Cohen. He's a white man. Matter of fact, I'm going to look that up right now. I'm going to get his name right.
I guarantee with this, watch you see Memphis be better. Watch you see Memphis have some law and order going on. But I'm just tired of seeing our people coming out trying to be activists and fight against the white man. But why aren't you fighting against the N-words, the ninjas, the ones who's carrying out the clip, shooting, taking people out in the community? Why aren't you guys walking hand in hand and protesting your own people that's doing stupid in your community?
Oh my God. Yeah. I found it, y'all. I'm right. Steve Cohen. He's the congressional. He's not even black. Again, that's also the proof right there that black people will vote for anybody. If they like you enough, they will vote for you. So these black districts, again, don't even guarantee a black person a seat. It's not guaranteed that Democrats are going to win. It's not even guaranteed that a black person is going to win. These are black people voting for who they want to vote for. And that's being taken away from black people. That's our representation being taken away from us. And you talking about crime. Oh, yeah. That's not the video. Here we go. This is the video. This is Bozo.
It's easy to protest against the white man because it's the white man's fault. But the reason why y'all communities is jacked up is because of y'all. What we see from a lot of these protesting, black women, single women. So that means what? Single baby mamas. Why are they protesting? Because the money about to dry up. That's why y'all protesting. The money about to dry up because the social programs, all those things are gone because now you got the Republicans all up in there. And those things are gone. That's the reason why y'all messed up.
See, I also told you all these, because I think he's also a manosphere bozo. Because I could tell by him attacking the black women and focusing on the black women, he's a manosphere bozo. Like, what did I just tell you? A lot of these bozos co-sign the Republicans' attack on the black woman because they hate the black woman. Like they co-signing this. Like, what did he say? Oh, crime. Now he's talking about the social programs that black women rely on are about to go up in flames. So that's supposed to be like a good thing or something? That's supposed to be a good thing?
This is all about money, man. What we see amongst these people, what we see amongst these black activists coming out and fighting against the redistricting and stuff like that. You guys have the opportunity in the past voting rights and all that stuff to have your own district or whatever, to be able to have a Democrat-led system or district in Memphis. But we see, based off of the stats, that a Democrat-ran Memphis is a bad Memphis. Crime is up, killings is up, single baby mama culture is up. So the data shows that Democrats equals crime, because we give you guys all these programs and you still acting a fool. But you want to protest because now they switching it up and now they're going to hold y'all accountable. A lot of y'all probably going to be going to jail. The social program's going to be gone. You guys got to work. You can't be praising the single baby mama culture. That's why they mad. This ain't mad about the redistricting. This is mad because they see the money's coming dry. When the Republicans get up in there, ain't no more social programs. Ain't no more being single in the streets, being independent, not having no man and getting all the.
Yeah, this is definitely manosphere content. Definitely Negro manosphere, red pill, MGTOW, black man go your own way type content. Definitely that. Definitely that. It's definitely that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Pre-sale. Oh, I did the video. He does sound zesty. But a lot of the manosphere bozos are DL, by the way. They are DL. But that's why they hate black women so much. But Pre-sale, I did the video. about the Hantavirus. I don't know if you just came in and you probably missed it, but yeah, I did that. Let me see something. He's trolling. All right, let me look at this chat. Let me take a look. You said you're not trolling? All right, if you're not trolling, bro, just leave the issue alone. I don't know what y'all talking about, but just leave that alone for right now. Yep. Nobody cares about that, though. Nobody cares about that. Exactly. And again, it's about hate. It's about hate. It's just about hate. It's just about hate. Jealousy, envy, and it's about hate. It's no logic to it. The Republicans are trying to destroy the black community, but you got a whole segment of black men who are willing to go along with it for one reason and one reason only, because they want to see black women be destroyed. It's the same thing with the racist white people. Racist white people know that the Republican Party is just for the rich and they want to destroy everything, but they ready to go along with it. Why? Because the Republican Party will destroy black people. Like, it's just hate. There's no logic to it. It's just hate. Exactly. Yeah, let's get back to this.
This money and all these opportunities that y'all still blowing. That's the reason why y'all mad. But you want to blame the white man. The reason why y'all so messed up as Memphis is because of black people. Because Memphis is a predominantly black city. And you guys have high crime. You have high murders. So I think it's time for the Republicans to be in charge of Memphis. If you ask me for my opinion.
And they know what happens when they allow us to be us.
Now, we've seen some emotional moments like that one and protests and heated exchanges, but nothing like today. Everything came to a head. The loudest part of the day didn't come through a microphone.
White liberal women, of course, they coming to the save. This is what we see. We see nothing but women. We see very little men at these protests. White liberal women, single baby mama black women. It's just truth, man. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, man. It's just truth. Look at the people protesting.
It came through protest and passion.
Oh, one guy missing teeth.
Senate Democrats and House Democrats. House Republicans and Democrats had 47 minutes each to debate the new congressional map that splits Memphis into 3 districts to flip it red. Democrats calling the move racist.
The audio cut out again. Oh my God. I can't believe this. Thank you, Justin March. I just looked at that. Looked at the comment section. Yes. What I was saying back there before the audio cut out is that these bozos are just the reason why you see so little bit of men there is because, one, the majority of Republican men, majority of white men are Republican. 2, you don't see a lot of black men there because a lot of, to our shame, a large swath of black men are like you. Not the majority, but they like this bozo on the screen right here. Y'all will support anything as long as y'all know it's going to hurt black women. That's it. You're no different than the racist white person who will support anything as long as they know it's going to hurt black people, even if it hurts them. And also, y'all at least, y'all not educated. Black women are pound for pound the most educated demographic in the nation. Black men are pound for pound the least educated demographic in the nation. And it shows right here. This is why the racist white man who've been studying black people saw that black women are the backbone of the community. And if you really want to destroy the black community, you don't attack black men, you attack black women. That's the center of gravity of the community. And you bozos is going along with it, thinking that it's going to empower you when it's not. But shout out to you, Justin March, for saying that. My first moderator.
The funny thing about this, we see the people with these masks on. And it's so funny how we see black people cheering and calling Republicans racist when the KKK was started by the Democrats. It's actual proof and evidence.
See? Proving how stupid you are. See, there's nothing more dangerous than a factoid in the hands of a stupid motherfucker. Nothing more dangerous than that.
But we have black women behind them cheering for this. See, what it sees like, what we see is that these women are uneducated. They just want to find a reason to fight. They want to find a reason to fight against the white man. But the reason why Memphis is jacked up is because of y'all. It's because of what your seeds you're putting out there. It's because who you opening your legs up to. Not creating the nuclear family. The same people that are protesting against this are the reason why Memphis is jacked up. They don't want to say that. They don't want me to say that either. But it's true. You guys are creating these YNs. You guys are kicking the man out the house so you can have the social programs. This is the reason why they mad. It's because they will no longer be rewarded for being single baby mamas in Tennessee.
Of the black population.
Nonsense. I can't believe anybody takes this serious. Oh my God, this is gonna have to be the last thing we cover tonight, because it's like I can't do no more of this. No more of this.
In the state of Tennessee, lives in Memphis and Shelby County. Nearly half. How can we sit here and say that this is not about race?
But Republicans say the map was based on population and politics, not race. They argue flipping the state's last Democratic district red is only fair because Tennessee is a majority conservative state, arguing Democrats in other states have done the same thing to help their party.
Jersey, Trump won 46% of the vote. It's congressional delegation, 9 Democrats, 3 Republicans. They maximized their partisan advantage.
The map is changing just months away from a major election, with campaigns well underway. While lawmakers passed a bill Republicans say will help make the transition smoother, Democrats still worry the change will cost the state millions and confuse voters and election officials.
Black woman fighting. Oh, look at all these women. What we have to understand is when we're looking at all this stuff, woman, we have a lot of women fighting for this. Where's the men? Women, right? We got one man, probably a pastor, getting paid. Women, black women, right? Black women. These are the same women that are creating these monsters. These are the same women that are.
Enough of this, bozo. James, how do we stop this? By just, it's going to be hard, but it's like a lot of things that's going to stop the miseducation in the community is pain. Like, it's going to be hard to be miseducated about what is what and who is who when you don't have a job, when you don't got a roof over your head, when people can do what Chud the Builder is doing with no consequences. When you can't even, when you're voting, when nobody cares about what you have to say because you have no power. That's when it's going to really kick in. When people actually start seeing that nobody's pandering to you. Nobody cares about what you have to say. People are ignoring you. Bad things are happening. You don't have opportunities. That's when it's going to really kick in. Like, it's going to be pain. One of the best ways that's going to help clear up a lot of the miseducation in the community is pain. I don't like it. It's bad. I don't like to say that, but it is what it is. It's going to be pain. Just like when we covered the other day when you had a dude calling in Tariq's show. He was questioning Tariq, and Tariq was trying to accuse him of being a tether. Mind you, he was a Tariq supporter who ended up losing his job. He lost his job because he worked for the federal government, and he was one of the black people who got fired, because we see that all the firings of the black people was basically racist. He was one of those black people, and now he don't got no job. And now he's starting to question whether Tariq was really right or not. And that's what's going to be. That's what it's going to be for a lot of people. Exactly. Incel talk. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, let's get back to this.
Probably pushing out their man so they can get social programs because it's led by the Democrats. The people who are probably responsible of Memphis being where it's at today are the ones that's getting mad. That lets you everything you need to know right there. Let me know let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. Or like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Oh my God, this is a bozo. Like a god. So this is how you this is the type of content people make. Come on, man. Let's get off of this. I'm stopping the share. Gotta stop sharing this. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got like 78 people in the building. Shout out to all of y'all. Make sure y'all supporting the stream. Make sure y'all go to my second channel because we about to cut out of here. So make sure you go to my second channel and subscribe to that channel. Hit the bell, all that. Go watch videos over there. Hit the like button, all that. Do that to this channel too. Also, yeah, but we about to bounce out of here. Let me see something. I don't know who he think. I don't know. I'm confused. Thank you for the fire emojis. Remember, keep the fire emojis up. Hey, what's up, Lola Bishop? What's up? Can't even talk right now. I'm getting over a cold, y'all. A cold or a flu or something. I don't know what I got, but I'm working through it. Exactly. My thoughts, exactly, Hood Mistress. Waste of melanin. But yeah, let me shout out everybody. Shout out to TB for the 5. Shout out to TB for the double up with the 2. Shout out to DJ Bruce for the 10. Shout out to Justin March for gifting 10 memberships. Family, if he gifted you a membership, make sure you keep it going. Make sure you keep it going. And if you can't keep it going at that level, you can, drop it down to a lower level. But yes, shout out to Justin March for gifting people their membership. And you can join and get your own membership as well, too. Shout out to 5 Point Star. I heard you was trolling. I hope that's not the case. And I hope you didn't send me this $5 thinking that you're going to get a pass for trolling. Because, again, I wasn't really looking at the chat. But if you really are trolling and stuff like that, I will put you on timeout. Donation or no donation. Shout out to RBG for the win for the $4.99. And family, again, on your way out, make sure you drop in fire emojis and make sure you go to my second channel and subscribe over there. And links in the description box below. And also, if you want to support the stream any other way, PayPal, Cash App, all that's in the pinned comment. And, oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, because I have definitely been sick, so it's hard for me to talk. But yeah, thank you. But, oh yeah, thank you for the fire emoji. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to everybody. But yeah, I'm about to end this right here. So have a good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this or wherever you're at. And on that note, family, peace.